Yes, guys. Yes, guys. Yes, guys. I know I was kind of late when it comes on to the upload of the Mystlix Reacts channel, but your boy is definitely on this here Brbptv live interaction reaction vibes here today on this here Wednesday. Let me just make sure that I organize this stuff in, and we are gonna be starting, of course, usually in the next 10 minutes. I'm gonna be waiting for a number of persons to come in right there and then. So welcome to every single one of you guys. CC More, big up yourself for definitely, man. You were probably waiting, bro. You were waiting right there. I do appreciate you 150% and then some in that regard right there. I'm just gonna set up this stuff to make sure that everything runs smoothly. Select this frequency. Yes, save. There's 7 of you guys. Of course, where are you guys watching from, man? Where are you guys watching from? Also, let me post the latest reaction that I did on Mystlix Reacts right there, so you guys can definitely check it out afterwards if you want. Latest on the live chat. So if you missed it, you can definitely check it out right there. I'll tag it on top. I'll pin it actually. I'll pin the message so you guys can check it out right there. But welcome to every single one of you guys, man. Welcome once again. And of course, big up the individual who actually like. I'm sorry, Seymour, that actually did that right there. Click the thumbs up button. I do appreciate that 150%. Of course, you guys have to know that thumbsing up the video actually helps the video to go further and further out there. So just click the thumbs up button for me. Wednesday vibes. I know some of you guys probably doing karaoke or going to plan to do karaoke. I myself want to do my karaoke too. So, but yes, guys. So earlier, the reason why so for the Mystlix Reacts channel, the reason why I uploaded a bit late today is because I actually did a previous reaction, but when I did that reaction, it was heavily copyrighted. So instead of doing all that work and then putting it out there, for very little to nothing at all, I decided to take that video back. I think I uploaded it on my Facebook, on the Mystlix. Let me see. I think it's up there on the Mystlix reaction commentary. Yes, it is. Yes, it is right there, guys. So I'm just, hold on. I think I have to edit this out though. Okay. Let me put it out there so you guys can actually see that I actually did this thing right there, man. So this is it right there, guys. This is the one I actually did today, but it was heavily copyrighted. Of course, I was reacting to the latest Booyah vibrations. A number of persons were sending it to me, so I decided, hey, let me do a reaction on this. And when I did the reaction on these guys, this thing just, this thing just messed up, man. That's crazy right there. So I decided to do this one. I uploaded it on this thing. I haven't shared it yet, although I need to definitely edit the post before I post it up, man. So I'll do that a bit later on. But like I indicated before, guys, where are you guys watching from, man? Where are you guys watching from? I'd really like to know that in the live chat. Obviously, if you are new to this vibes, you have to subscribe to the channel to be able to do a live chat or be in the live chat as well. So I'd appreciate if you guys subscribe to this channel as well. And then, of course, you'll be able to do live chattings. That's the word, live chattings. Yeah. So at the end of this video, I'll also post that video, the one that is actually showing there for you guys. If you guys want, you can just go on the Mystlix reaction commentary and check it out. But after this video, hopefully you guys can remind me as well to post it up right there. I would appreciate that 150 billion% in that regard right there. course, we have a number of individuals, 13 individuals locked in. Okay, Seymour, of course, is in the building. Yes, bro. You keep me informed on what's going on in my country, all the way from Canada, man. I need to go to Canada. I was trying to go, man. I need to go back to Canada. I was in Canada last year. I met a number of Mr. Leaks family. Big up the Mr. Leaks family in Canada, man. You guys are, I don't know, you guys, you guys are on a whole other level right there. So big up the individuals who watch from Canada. I appreciate you guys 150% and then some. Yes, man. So I actually did, as you can clearly see, I actually did a reaction on that vibes right there. I'm not posting it out because I don't want to get copyrighted on this channel. So yeah, so Seymour, big up yourself out of Canada. I was in Toronto the other day. The other day right there. So I need to go back, man. I like Canada outside of the Frio. You guys, man, your Frio is totally different from what is in the United States right there. Ethelyn Dura, you're locked in. Ethelyn, where are you watching from? Ethelyn Dura, can you let the people know? Can you let me know where you're watching from? Cyril Christopher, of course, is in Louisville, Kentucky. Kentucky Fried. I wonder if that's where Kentucky Fried Chicken comes from. I don't know, but you guys will let me know if that is the case right there. So big up Kentucky Massive. Kentucky, not Kentucky. Kentucky. Big up to the Kentucky Massive right there. It's been a long time. The last time I've been to Kentucky was probably back in 2013, maybe 2013, 2012. No. 2013, 2014 was probably the last time I've been up that side right there. Man, that's a long time. I spent like probably 2 days there. That's it. Yeah. But it's a nice spot, man. It's a nice spot, no doubt about it. Lady Go, boy, it take a while for me to come in. Also, what's going on? It took a while. Remember, we are less than 10 minutes in here. We are 7 minutes in. So, how did it take a long time to come in, though? I appreciate the 14 individuals in the building. We have, 5 people in the chat, the live chat. Like I indicated before, guys, if you want to chat on this thing, you have to be subscribed to the channel to be able to live chat as well. Now, there's something that actually posts in the actual reaction. Like I indicated before, I actually pinned the live interaction I did today on Mr. Leaks Reacts. There's something interesting that I saw when it comes down to, and I've mentioned it before. I actually mentioned the situation involving what's his name again? Jonathan Leher. And I kept thinking to myself, guys, how is this individual sick? How is he sick? That's something I find very bewildering, so to speak, because that's what they're telling us. We then cannot say, oh, he's lying. It's not true. But based on objective reality, on the times passed by, and I mentioned that in the latest reaction today, and I'm saying to myself, but he doesn't look like he's sick at all. No, on the basis that they're saying that, you know, maybe he has prostate cancer or whatever like that, and he has not received proper medical attention. It seems like what is going on in the prison, he's receiving proper medical attention because he doesn't look like he's dwindling, none of that stuff. So I just find it very strange, man. I just find it very strange when it comes down to the Langlois partner. The Leher partner. So, yeah. Lady boy, it takes a while. Lady go Kentucky Fried Chicken. Yes, man. But I do appreciate you guys for definitely being a part of this year vibes today, man. I say I have some catching up to do. It's been a while, man. It's been a long time coming since I actually had to do that video right there. So we're gonna get some vibes in, and of course tomorrow I'll be hopefully doing another one right there. Thaddeus is on in Maho. Big up the Maho Massive, man. Big up the Maho Massive. There's a number of persons in Maho who tend to watch my videos, man. There's quite a bit. If I have to look at the map of Dominica when it comes on to the individuals who watch, I know in the United States it's New York, it's Florida, and where's the third one? I think New Jersey is in the top 5, but New York and Florida are definitely in the top 1 and 2 position when it comes on to the individuals who watch my videos. I think in Dominica, I think it's Maho. I'm not gonna lie. And it's strange because Mao tends to support the DLP, even though they get in a set of blues from the Dominica Labour Party, which is kind of crazy to me right there. But hey, the people, I guess they like what they like. So, but big up the Maho Massive. Hopefully, we get a change when it comes on to the next election. Right there. I got delayed, which is unusual. It could be the chat format, maybe. I'm not sure. Yeah, but we just started anyway, so you didn't miss anything. Oh, okay, guys, 10 minutes is up, so let us get the ball rolling right there. Like I stated before, I'll post this at the end of this video, so if you guys want to go check out that vibrations right there, you can definitely do so. But of course, I also post or pinned the latest reaction for today. I know it's been late since I uploaded it, but they say better late than never. Okay, guys, so we're gonna get into the vibrations for today. Like I indicated before, don't forget to click the thumbs up button for your boy. And of course, let's get into this mysterious thing. Daniel Langlois killing in Dominica exposed the web of power and corruption. I saw some of that right there, and I have to agree, yes, it exposed a lot of things. So let's get it. CBC News, the fifth estate. Introduction. Yes, that's
Did a neighbor's argument over a road in Dominica lead
and guys, the reason why I want to point this out right there is to show you guys that there is a motive. Yes, that is what I was looking for earlier on when I spoke about the lawyer and the measure that he was talking about, that there is a motive to take the life of these individuals, and therefore these people should not be granted bail in any way, shape, or form. But it seems like they have bypassed that, the motive aspect of it, to say, hey, there's no evidence, but there is a motive, and we can clearly see what the motive is here when it comes on to this here clipping.
Did a neighbor's argument over a road in Dominica lead to this?
Quebec new media entrepreneur and philanthropist Daniel Langlois is believed to have been found dead along with his partner.
I told everyone it was them, but no, that's impossible. Impossible. It can't be them.
Daniel Langlois and his partner Dominique Marchand were shot, burned, and left on the side of the road.
So guys, as clearly seen right there, based off the argument that we saw earlier on between Jonathan Leher and of course the Daniel Langlois, they just pronounced Daniel and Dominique, you could clearly see that something was brewing, so to speak. Something was brewing to the point where it was actually brought to court. And when it was brought to court, brothers and sisters, the court decided that the road should be available for individuals to pass. And as a result of that, these people still got mad, didn't want individuals to pass on the road. It's not your country. It's not your country. You get a passport for whatever reason. You get a passport, you come here. You should be doing like what Daniel and Dominic were doing for the Dominican people. Patronizing and helping and seeing how you can help them in whatever means that you can do. But instead you bring in hell to the people. The very people who are your neighbors. The very great book says that you should be peaceable with all men. And apparently these individuals most likely didn't see the great book. Let's continue.
Daniel and Dominic, they have been all to me. Not only me, everybody.
Their relationship with their neighbors was fraught. Deteriorating to the point of open
That's the Jonathan Leher woman.
Relationship with their neighbors was fraught. Deteriorating to the point of open hostility and even murder, according to prosecutors. One of those neighbors has been charged and is in jail awaiting trial.
I know he's innocent.
That's as for that lawyer themselves. I want you guys to listen carefully to what the lawyer is saying. I think we can point out a number of things that is quite disturbing when it comes on to what transpired. Keep in mind, this video is a month old. When it came out, it's a month old right there. And it's very important to listen to what the lawyer is saying. This is why I probably had to do this at this particular time. But listen very much. Christopher, big up yourself one time. Christopher, tell the people where you are watching from. Christopher Sebastian, right there. Big up yourself as well. But let's continue, guys.
And that's a clear case.
A case surround
let's go
trial.
back.
I know he's innocent.
So the lawyer is saying he knows he's innocent. How do you know he's innocent? Were you there? No, you're not there. but you know he's innocent. That is the rhetoric that you're putting forth on camera. For the viewers, the lawyer is saying that he knows he's innocent. Very interesting stuff right there. And that's a clear case that he's saying. However, as previously seen, we saw that there was a motive as to why these neighbors were not agreeing with each other. We saw the motive to the point, the 10-year battle, you know, brothers and sisters, we're talking about. We saw the motive, but he's saying that he knows that his client is innocent, of course.
And that's a clear case.
A case surrounded in mystery and the surprising links to Dominica's passport, politics, and international criminals.
Oh, here's a sanctioned Russian oligarch. Here's a war criminal. Here's a guy who was sanctioned for smuggling blood gold out of Congo.
All of which brings us to ask some uneasy questions. We just want to know why you acted as a safety for Mr. Lehrer. I'm Marimo.
Guys, did you hear what the individual said a while ago? Did you hear? Take a listen again.
And the surprising links to Dominica's passport, politics, and international criminals.
Listen.
Oh, here's a sanctioned Russian oligarch. Here's a war criminal. Here's a guy who was sanctioned for smuggling blood gold out of Congo.
All of which brings us to ask some uneasy questions. We just want to know why you acted as a safety for Mr. Lehrer. I'm Marimo Denis, host of Radio-Canada's investigative program Enquête, and this is The Fifth Estate.
Why did they act as a surety for Jonathan Lehrer? Why? It'll be all exposed there today, guys. All. Dominica.
Normand Langlois and his partner Sylvie had for years made Dominica home. They had never expected nor wanted to return under these circumstances. Normand is Daniel Langlois' little brother. They came back last June to settle the estate, in particular the Colibri Ridge Hotel.
Là, on est comme nulle part, mais quand t'arrives...
You feel like you're in the middle of nowhere. But when you get to Colibri, with the sea views and the island of Martinique in the distance, it's so beautiful.
He's definitely advertising on the platform. Hey, you have to do what you gotta do, bro. You definitely have to do what you have to do to make your money.
Dominica is a small island nation of 70,000 people nestled between Guadeloupe and Martinique. Now, Normand and Sylvie are back to pick up the pieces.
On a un hôtel à opérer. On veut que ça fonctionne.
We have a hotel to run. We want it to work.
Il y a des emplois en jeu.
There are jobs at stake.
C'est énorme, en tout cas.
It's huge.
They never thought they would ever have to run a hotel. Never imagined their brother and sister-in-law would be killed. So
before they continue right there, I mean, we just saw the road conditions. So the individuals, brothers and sisters, we just pay too much money. Too much money for license. You're paying license for your vehicle and you have to pay license to drive the vehicle. And then you're looking at the conditions of the road, my goodness gracious. I mean, come on, man. KB Lyric, big up yourself one time. Everything done in the dark. No, I guess no matter what, how long, no matter how long it takes, it must come out to light. Yes, I agree, But my problem with that statement here, I agree with the statement, but the problem is when. When? Just like people say, oh, not long, the system that is happening in Dominica, not long. But we have been in it for 20 years, brothers and sisters, going. My God, 20 years. Anyways, let's continue right here.
So close to home. We've come with them on this trip to better understand why those close to Daniel Langlois and Dominique Marchand worry the accused will never face trial.
Fait qu'on approche du lieu de l'incident.
We're getting close to the scene. Okay, the next curve.
C'est là qu'il y a eu qu'ils ont fait l'embûche.
That's where they set up the ambush. They were coming in from the village, and it's here where they blocked the road. That's where it happened. That's where they went to burn the car.
C'est là qu'ils sont allés brûler la voiture.
Daniel Langlois was raised in a modest family in the Laurentians in western Quebec. As an adult, he became a fixture of Montreal's culture scene. But his international claim to fame was his 3D animation software that transformed Hollywood.
That transformed Hollywood. I don't think Dominicans actually knew what they actually had. Just like kind of brings me back, I think the closest to Daniel Langlois would be Ross, brothers and sisters, Ross University. I don't think Dominica actually knows what they have lost. It's one thing when you lose something in the north and then lose something in the south. That is a huge contributing factor to Dominica. And yet still today we are seeing the bits and pieces of something that should warrant justice being dwindled down by the very upkeepers of the justice system right there. I think that is very sad. I think that is very, very sad.
Softimage 3D will allow us to build any kind of model that we like and then assign it to this kind of skeleton.
He started off small in the 1980s, working with the National Film Board. He developed a software that helped create this, a first of its kind, a 3D animated humanoid.
Hey, let's go crazy.
He perfected his computer code over the next 2 decades, and with that, he helped create some monster Hollywood hits, like Jurassic Park, The Matrix, and Titanic.
So that's who was in Dominica, man. That's who was in Dominica, bro. Who settled in Dominica, who loved Dominica for what Dominica truly possesses, its nature. And even established a hotel that pretty much catered to the nature itself. So you know that was in depth when it comes on to his thoughts and feelings on Dominica. He didn't just want to create something, but he wanted to actually utilize something that will also push nature in the nature of the Caribbean as well.
His company, Softimage, grew and grew until...
Softimage, a company he began 8 years ago, sold for $130 million US.
Sold to Microsoft and Bill Gates.
The goal is effectively to move to the mass market.
Il a fait des millions avec ça, là. Il a fait beaucoup d'argent.
He made millions on that sale, a lot of money. And that money allowed him to do other things.
Lui a permis de faire autre chose.
There's something I saw there, brothers and sisters. Sometimes when we get money, what we use the money to do is to buy food and to buy clothes and to try to outdo other people when it comes on to the funds that we've made. Oh, look at me. Yay, look at me. Instead, people actually use monies to actually do other things that can create more money for them and create a surplus of funds coming in. But we want to take our money, we work our 9 to 5, and then we just go and buy drink. Go and buy rum. Go and buy rum instead of actually looking to invest that money in something that can actually create generational wealth. And we wonder why. I think I blame the school system for that. Anyways, let's
Dominique
continue.
Marchand, Langlois' partner, grew up in Montreal until being accepted to Harvard to study Mandarin. Her life changed forever when she answered a want ad at Softimage as Langlois' secretary. Céline Casey was Dominique's friend since high school.
Je pense que Danielle et Dominique vont très bien ensemble.
I think Danielle and Dominique are a great match. They complement each other so well.
That's the thing about relationship, brothers and sisters. When you have relationships, you must complement each other. We're learning a lot of things here, man. We're learning a lot of things. We'll get to the nitty-gritty, but you get the point.
The Langlois created a foundation that supports the arts, humanities, and the environment. Which brings us back here, to Dominica and the couple's latest and last dream project, Colibri Ridge.
À un moment donné, on a su que là, il était en projet.
Eventually, we learned he had a plan to build a hotel in Dominica.
Acheter des terrains.
He had bought land.
Daniel Langlois asked his little brother Normand to come join him to supervise some of the construction. What should have been a project lasting just a few years turned into 17.
Colibri, il l'a dessiné de A à Z.
Danielle designed it all, down to the smallest detail. Nothing was neglected. Each stone, each tile was in his plans.
Chaque pierre, chaque tuile était toujours dans ses dessins.
Living truly off-grid, without compromise.
Daniel Langlois, in his own words, described his vision in this promotional video.
The land started to basically talk to me. The angle of the mountain, where the sun would set, where the sundown would come, all of that influenced the way the buildings are made.
Brothers and sisters, as he's saying that day, I remember the exact thing that Mr. Ross was saying. I never met him. I don't think I ever met him. But based off his story was on the same situation as Daniel was. And he felt like he couldn't have this for himself and therefore wanted to share it with others and, of course, utilize the medical field to bring students to Dominica so they can bask in the beauty. And his vision did come to pass because I have dealt with a number of students right there. And one of the things that they like to do is to go to the beach and just, not just any beach, not just saying, oh, it's white sand beaches and this kind of things there, but it's about just going to the beach in the nature island of the Caribbean. There's a different ambience when it comes down to that right there. They get to pursue the career as well as get to enjoy true nature. And I think that is where Dominica stands out as a nature isle of the Caribbean right there. Let's continue.
Where the sun would set, where the sundown would come, all of that influenced the way the buildings are made, to take advantage of their location, to be better aligned with the sun.
That's why there's solar devices.
On est sur une crête à l'intérieur d'un ancien volcan.
We are on a ridge inside an ancient volcano. So Danielle had to follow the curve of the ridge.
But you have guts to it. In active volcano. Dominica is on active volcanoes, you know.
The morphology of it. He had to orient the buildings with the sun, with the solar panels, and it all melded into the environment.
Il voyait loin d'avance.
He was a visionary.
Tout ce qui est Colibri Ridge, pour moi, toute l'ambiance.
Everything at Colibri Ridge. The whole atmosphere, the people working, the professionalism.
Le professionnalisme des gens.
For me, all of that is Dominique.
C'est Dominique pour moi.
The hotel finally opened in the fall of 2022. Dominique Marchand and Daniel Langlois would not enjoy it for long.
Boy.
That's why I work, to cook for them, right in there.
Maggie Fontaine was the couple's private chef, preparing meals for them to take back to their apartment at Colibri Ridge.
I know Daniel and Dominique a long time. I could picture Dominique with that long hair, would step in the kitchen. She would say, "Hello, Maggie Doudou." That's how she used to call me.
Céline Casey had a standing lunch date every Friday with Dominique. But on one of those Fridays, something wasn't right.
C'est vraiment un moment privilégié.
It's really a special moment for me. I looked forward to my Fridays.
Et ce vendredi-là, j'ai pas vu la voiture de Daniel.
And then on that Friday, I didn't see Danielle's car. Danielle and Dominique are very discreet. They go about their business on their own.
Donc, c'était pas quelque chose qui était anormal de pas voir la voiture.
So it wasn't unusual not to see their car. But then some managers came over and said, "Listen, we haven't seen them all morning. Something's going on."
Of course, something is going
quelque chose qui se passe.
My phone rang. And Maliva asked me, "Maggie, did you see Daniel and Dominique?" Then I told her no.
Maleva is the hotel's general manager.
Puis Maliva,
Then Maliva said, "That's not normal."
Général a dit, "Ah non, Céline, c'est pas normal." Donc j'ai dit bon, OK.
So I said, "Okay, we'll send cars. 3-4 people, 3-4 cars to go search.
On se rejoint dans 10 minutes.
And we'll meet up in 10 minutes." When they got back, they said they couldn't find them anywhere. There's no car, there's nothing.
Ils sont pas nulle part, il y a pas de voiture, il y a pas rien.
Then I called back Petit Colibri and I asked them to go in Daniel's and Dominique's fridge where they kept their meals. See if their meal, if they came with their stuff.
Worried, Maggie calls Normand in Montreal.
I said, "No, man, don't be scared." But then I cried in here and he said, "What, Maggie, what happened?" It's like I didn't have no control over myself. So.
Oh, 27180 saying, what is going on here? Oh, send kids Christopher. Okay, big up yourself one time. What is going on here? We are pretty much reviewing, and the reason why I've not decided, the reason why I guess this fall into the place of how it is happening right now, where we get to review this, because of the situation that took place with granting bail. And one of the things that I mentioned was there's motive behind this situation. Of course, a lawyer from the United States pretty much indicated that, right? They actually read it out on the Mr. Leaks Reacts channel, and he indicated there's motive. So I figured, hey, pretty much right now would be the good time to showcase that vibrations right there. Of course, earlier on, we saw that there was a squabble between them when it comes down to the road. And of course, we knew it's not just between Daniel and Jonathan. Jonathan also and his wife or his girlfriend, whoever she was, they always had a struggle with people passing on the main road. We will get a bit deeper into that right there. So I think reviewing this thing will give us a clear idea as to how deep and dangerous this thing is, and of course the exposing of the justice system right there.
I had to tell him, be strong. Daniel and Dominique, we are not seeing them from since Thursday when they came down for their meal.
J'essaie d'appeler Danielle.
So I tried to call Danielle. I sent emails. I said, "Danielle, get in touch with us." Danielle never lost touch. For Danielle not to communicate for 2 hours was virtually impossible.
Que Danielle ne communique pas pendant 2 heures, c'était presque impossible.
My mom called me and told me they got a vehicle burned in the way to go to Gallo, the back road, and it have 2 people on board.
Puis là, Mariva est arrivée sur l'entrefait.
Then Maliva arrived and said, look, they just found a burnt car in Gallion. Then she said, I'm sure it's them. I'm sure. I was shocked.
Voyons donc. On est parti.
We went to Gallion and the car was so burnt,
La voiture était tellement calcinée.
you couldn't see inside. It was just a carcass.
On voyait pas l'intérieur, c'était qu'une carcasse.
On n'a à peu près plus de doute.
We had almost no doubt. How it happened, we couldn't say. That it was them, for us, it was obvious.
Ça devenait une évidence.
I had the great sense, the feeling it was there. And it was there for sure. It was there.
Just a few days later, on
Guys, before we continue, right there, and it was them for true. The reason why they found out, I think there was some sort of indication or something of that sort that indicated that it was them right there. However, when it comes on to finding out certain information, especially when you are not really sure, you would need to do forensics. And the problem with Dominica, which most likely would cause these guys to actually truly escape, so to speak, is because there's no forensics in Dominica. Now, don't get me wrong, there have been people who have been sent overseas to do forensics and study these kind of things there. But when they do get the degrees, they don't come to Dominica. I know or I've heard of individuals who have that ability to do forensics. Obviously, you need equipment. But why aren't so long situations have been happening, and you mean to tell me the powers that be just have, they don't have no care to find out how we can utilize these skill sets to actually solve problems or find justice for those who have been victims of circumstances like this? I mean, really? Is this, question, is this intentional? Just like how they're screwing up the economy, brothers and sisters, it's clear that it's intentional and that it's screwing up the economy to keep the people down so that the people always be loyal. Oh, give me some, stretch my hand. Beg, brothers and sisters, begging society of the breadcrumbs. Right there. I think that is the same sentiment. I could be wrong. What are your thoughts on that? Let me know that as well. Let's continue.
Just a few days later, on December 6th, 2 men were arrested and charged with their murders. Coming up, our investigation turns to neighborly relations gone.
That was last year.
And charged with their murders. Coming up, our investigation.
That's Jonathan and Robert Snyder. Jonathan Leher, Robert Snyder.
Investigation turns to neighborly relations gone very sour.
Auto 718, them people still in Dominica. Yeah. So the one who got bail is still in Dominica today. He was in court yesterday, from my understanding. And this is why people saw him and was like, wait, you don't look sick at all. He doesn't look sick at all. Yet still they're talking about doing medical. Man, this is just this is just a smoke screen right there. And they know that some people might know this information, you know. They know. Kind of like how people figure out, hey, we know that people are going to find out about the whole injection situation. We know people are going to find out about it. But that's not the problem. The problem is not them finding out. It's the time that we need for the amount of people to get the injection. That is the whole problem, brothers and sisters. It's not them finding out the truth. Just like the situation that is happening is not us finding out the truth about what is happening, but the time it will take for these people to escape. Once they escape, that is it, you know. You think they're going to come back? Okay, wait still.
Got my property. You get back in your vehicle.
Our investigation in Dominica takes an unusual turn. Jonathan Leher and Robert Snyder were charged with the murders of Daniel Langlois and Dominique Marchand on December 6th, 5 days after their bodies were found. The accused are awaiting trial in jail.
Well, Jonathan get bail. The other one's still there.
With my colleague Yannick Dumont-Baron, we've been invited to visit Leher's estate by a public relations firm they hired.
So guys, this is one of the key areas I want you guys to listen to right there. What the worker of that estate, that is the Jonathan Leher estate we're talking about right there, what he has been saying and what you can pinpoint from it as well. Also guys, there's 44 of you guys in the building right now. 11 likes. Can you please click the thumbs up button for me right now, guys? We need the thumbs up button to go up in the air. Click the thumbs up button for me, please. Oh, my face wasn't showing. Okay, click the thumbs up button for me. I would appreciate that right there, guys. 45 of you guys in the building right now. Click the thumbs up button. I would appreciate that right there. Click the like button, man, so to speak. If you guys don't know what the like button is. The thumbs up button, the like button, the thumbs up button, the like button. Click the thumbs up button for me, please. Let's continue.
And invited to visit Learer's estate by a public relations firm they hired.
So, should I say welcome? Welcome to Brbptv.
Kern Toussaint is an employee tasked with...
Hold on. Brbptv, brothers and sisters, should never have been sold to this individual right there. That is part of Dominica's history. You can clearly see the rocks and the formation of the rocks. Obviously, this one has been, tampered with. But this is something that should have never been sold to anybody at all. Avril, appreciate the 5 gifted. Appreciate that one time right there. Of course, guys, if you want to send some gifts my way for doing this stuff, you can definitely send a super chat. You can definitely send a super like, or even do like Avril in that regard right there. Appreciate that as well. Avril, big up yourself one time. Let's continue.
Hired.
So, should I say welcome? Welcome to Brbptv.
Kern Toussaint is an employee tasked with showing us around. He says the historic estate welcomed cruise passengers on day trips.
Yeah, that's why it should never have been sold to these people. Never. How on earth a treasure like this is being sold, not to black people, brothers and sisters, but to white people? I don't understand. I don't have nothing against white people, by the way. But how on earth this is Dominica and some parts of history has been sold to the very people that were propagating this hatred on black people? I don't understand this. This should be a tourist attraction where the government, the tourism minister, who apparently doesn't do nothing much, but want to take credit for what other people outside of Dominica are doing. That is something that they should have worked on to elevate and make it, to showcase part of Dominica's history. They sold it. Boy, tell you, boy.
Different tours. We have, first and foremost, our chocolate tour. We also do chocolate here.
I never knew that, no? Guys, have you ever eaten Dominica chocolate in Dominica? Have you ever eaten a Dominica chocolate in Dominica? I know it have one in the northern part of Dominica, the Red Rock region. I have never eaten any Dominica chocolate. I just happened to, a few years ago, where I find out we had chocolate in Dominica. But we have kakoti at least. I drink some kakoti.
This is partly a cocoa plantation. Jonathan Learer and his wife, Victoria, guided tourists through the process of making chocolate.
It's maybe like a group of 20 people at once. We place the chairs. We have refreshments.
Then we noticed behind some trees what looks like a building under construction.
This is Jonathan's project.
And what's the project?
Well, we call it the Mariana building.
Mariana?
Yes.
That is the underground bunker, man. Let me not say too much in that regard.
We're in project, it's not finished. Yeah. And this is just one of what he intended to build. It's just one.
But why? Why, brothers and sisters? In a place where slaves were brought to work and toil, we are getting some sort of underground bunker right there. What would happen under these bunkers? Brothers and sisters, sometimes, especially when you're hearing people gone missing and they were never found again. Maybe they have been put in bunkers, I don't know. But Misami, it's very interesting as I mentioned that right there, because I remember the police and the story that they were giving, which made me wonder if the police was also involved, brothers and sisters. Sometimes you cannot have these people at the top like nothing. They can do no wrong, Sometimes they are the ones doing all the wrong and try to blame somebody else for it.
This is where people could stay. Yes, yes.
A friend of the Learers told us Jonathan Learer is a survivalist. His company's website offers an investment in these shelters in the event of a natural disaster or social upheaval.
Social upheaval. That's the excuse you're using, sir? Okay.
This video shows a passage under the property filled with transport containers.
That's a storeroom.
Containers, brothers and sisters. Containers. What would be happening in those containers? I don't know, but my goodness. This world filled with wicked people is very clear when it comes on to Jonathan, the murderer accused, and Robert Snyder with him. It's very clear that, you know, people can have devious hearts, man. Wickedness in their soul. Lady Go, that was two crucial ways to get rid of someone. Too tense. He probably thought his neighbors were too close to his dwelling and might notice his wrongdoings. That's also something that I thought of as well, especially when it comes down to the bunkers. He probably felt that he didn't want people passing on the road or near his establishment for the things that they potentially would have done in these bunkers. So you're trying to get people rid of these areas. This is why they were probably so adamant not to pass on this road, but the road is a public road. But they didn't care if the courts said not to pass there. They were releasing their dogs, man. If I was on that road and your dog come out and bite me, you don't have a dog again. You don't have dog again. I tell you. Your dog come and bite me and you think your dog going back home to eat Kentucky Fried Chicken? Ay. But yeah, what could have caused these people to constantly? It's just a road people passing. I understand. Well, fence your place now, but you just don't want people to pass on the public road at all. What could be the motive? We see in an underground bunker. What could happen there? And if you're probably screaming under there, brothers and sisters, nobody knows. You know, nobody knows what could have been going on inside there. What could be the potential of what could have been happening inside that place? Why these people did not want locals nor their neighbors to pass on the public road. That, I think, is a motive right there.
Oh, that's a storing room.
That's a storing room. That's what it is.
Okay.
It's storeroom, man.
Okay, so
You guys, which storeroom you ever see like that? He said that's a storeroom. A storeroom for the containers?
That's a storeroom.
oh, that's a storing room.
That's a storing room.
That's probably what they tell him. And he just telling us what they tell him. But he don't know.
What it is.
Okay.
For food.
Okay, so
For food. What? Boy, I have seen underground food storages. They don't do nothing like this. First of all, if you have food under there like this is going to rotten very quickly. We're talking about for food.
food in the country.
You've not seen the place, man. Huh? For food? For two people? Boy, what? A asteroid that coming and mash up the earth, man. Wait. And if an asteroid coming to mash up the earth, you think that bunker going to save you?
Yes.
Okay. Did Mr. Lear have firearms?
He carried a firearm, yes.
He carried with him.
It's a licensed firearm.
Okay. Is it legal to carry a firearm?
It's legal. As long as you're on property, it's legal to carry a firearm on your property.
So you can get a firearm. Okay. BSCCCNY. Okay. Big up yourself. BSC. They have some interesting names there. Anyway, she don't even want to fix the sulfur springs up in Sufri. My point, brothers and sisters, we went down to Sufria region to bathe in one of the sulfur springs back in the day, brothers and sisters, and we saw what used to be. And she's the minister of tourism, where tourists can actually come and bathe inside there. Monies could be, we used to pay what, $10 or something to go inside that. Monies that can be made. Let the tourists come down, they travel to there, let them soak their old bones, because old tourists are still coming on Dominica. But let them soak their bones. You're not even fixing that up, but you want you think you're the best minister of tourism? Boy, and Dominicans all you voting for that? Really? Nah, man. Something right for you.
But it's not because Jonathan Lear carried a gun that made him a suspect. In fact, when the Lears first arrived, relations were very cordial, neighborly, says Normand Langlois.
Il est arrivé en 2012.
He arrived in early 2012, I think.
On est parti, nous quatre.
Danielle, Dominique, Sylvie, and I went to see him on his property. We went to say hello.
Et lui dire bonjour.
The Lear and Langlois properties border each other.
Et ça a duré pendant probablement.
And for at least 2 years, we had a relatively good relationship.
For 2 years, they had a really good relationship. Probably when they came, their motive was for them to just settle and thing. And maybe they saw the freedom in Dominica and decide, hey, we can probably do some interesting things under, maybe using a bunker, brothers and sisters. Maybe a bunker for food.
On se croisait, on voyait ses enfants.
We saw each other, we saw his children.
Il nous avait dit.
But all that changed in 2014. Relations with Jonathan Lehrer became strained to the point where Daniel Langlois and Dominique Marchand started filming their encounters with a dash cam.
As they should. So you have proof for the courts.
Because the only road to get to Colibri Ridge runs through the heart of the Lehrer's property, Bois Côtelette.
Du fait qu'on était sur un chantier.
Because we were building, there was a lot of material being transported. So there was definitely activity on that road.
Trucks, heavy equipment, buses, any type of vehicle you could think of. Trailer trucks, they would all pass right there.
So that is the main road. That is the main road. So apparently he probably didn't know there was a main road passing through the land that he buy. He bought. He should not have gotten, but he bought. He must have really give a big amount of money to get that land. Because to me, brothers and sisters, are we supposed to protect our historical artifacts? Aren't the historical artifacts supposed to be preserved, never sold? Even the whole situation involving Kepinski, brothers and sisters, buying that area where they think, they say it's too close to Carbridge. There was a whole hoopla about that thing, but they say, okay, it's a bit far, and decided to finally build this stuff there. It's not in the Carbridge National Park is what is preserved, but whatever happened outside at the bottom of there, they finally say, okay, it's cool to do it. So these people didn't know that there was a road passing for the spot, and they were there for 2 years, living peaceable with each other, unless he decided he had some nasty, some motive, some motive to finally do some corruptive practices there, brothers and sisters. What do I know?
That doesn't belong here. You're damaging this. Tell him to turn around.
Jonathan, lui, il prétendait tout le temps qu'on endommageait.
Jonathan claimed we were damaging his buildings, that we were damaging the ruins on his site. Then he tried as hard as he could to catch us in the act.
C'est jamais arrivé.
It never happened. It was tight, it was difficult, but we did it.
Big up to them truck drivers in Dominica, eh? Trust me. Them Dominica truck drivers have skills, man. Because I'm sure that road is a bit narrow, you know, and there's a building right there. So
keep looking, and I don't see any marks of paint or any sign of damages, right?
No. It's just a fear of that happening. And I've never seen with my 2 eyes anyone, but accidents do happen.
What's the issue? Away from here. Don't be talking to me on my property. Get back in your vehicle.
Well, what is wrong with Mr. Boy?
It quickly became hellish.
What is wrong with Mr. Boy? Is public land? Why are you talking about why? I different.
What's the issue? Away from here. Don't be talking to me on my property. Get back in your vehicle.
C'est vite devenu infernal.
It quickly became hellish.
So don't you think there's a motive there? That's the key thing I want to drive to you guys, Motive. He doesn't want him on his land, even though that's public road, public access. You guys get my drift? 51 of you guys in the building. We have half the likes. Can you guys please bring that up for me? Of course, big up the individuals who have just come in right now. Click the thumbs up button for me. I would appreciate that right there. And of course, like I indicated before, guys, you can definitely send a gift if you want to, like Avril did. Much appreciated right there. So just click the thumbs up button for me. I would appreciate that 150% in that regard. Even if you don't want a gift, but just click the thumbs up button for me. I would appreciate that right there. Lady, some cousins, Auto 7180 saying, I have some cousins in Point Michel, but they're not violent. They're just plain friendly. Okay. Lady Go, when people are doing wrong, everyone are the enemy. Yes. Because if you know you're okay and everything is fine and dandy, all of a sudden you just start disliking the people that you were friendly with, that looking like you. All of a sudden, there's some kind of strain. This is why I always tell people to listen to. Holy, look at okay. This is why I always tell people to listen to people's, or not listen, but watch the things that people do. Not what they tell you, but watch the things that they actually do and see if it actually is beneficial to you or it's at your detriment right there. Because like you indicated right there correctly, that when people are doing wrong, everybody is the enemy because they don't want people to see or know the wrong that they are involved in right there. This is probably why there's no transparency in Dominica. Correct me if I'm wrong, you know, guys. Is there transparency in Dominica? Where we have to be wondering, why is the corresponding banks not transferring our funds anymore? Why? But we have to wonder, why did we lose visa-free access to a number of places? Well, I know why. I know why. I've told you guys quite a number of times already. Anyways, guys, we continuing right there.
It was a daily problem, whether it was us or our employees.
Lear said,
this is him running up and down, trying to figure out this thing. I mean, it's very clear.
to me, you have to understand, Celine, we're conducting tours and you drive right through. I said I understood, but that's the road, you know?
Yeah, it's the road. It's not your road. It's not your road, father. You buy a place you shouldn't even get in the first place. I don't know how much money you put down, but it's not your road.
She's doing? You see what she's fucking doing?
What am I doing? What am I doing?
What
Jonathan Lear's wife, Victoria.
Are you making noise with a man in his land? In his country? You're making noise with a man that was there long before you come. I think there's always a poverty complex where people believe it's called poverty complex, no, or rich wealth complex or something of that sort, where we have more money than you, so you have to do what we tell you to do. I've been around certain people that had that mannerisms, and when they try that on me, they know that not working to the point they're wondering what's going on. I don't care how much money you have than me. If I don't want to do what I don't want to do, you're not making me do what you want me to do. You don't even have enough money to pay me to do what I don't want to do. Because money is not something that sways me. I have seen, let me leave that alone. Right there. Auto 718. That there could be my cousin, but I never meet that one, and I'm not too sure about that guy. He's probably talking about the individual who is talking about the Jonathan Lear estate. Oh, okay. Lady Go is saying, what happened to the French girl, the white that made it for Carnival? Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That people are just disappearing, and if you cannot go on his estate or something of that sort, you cannot even say, okay, let me go and look to see what is happening in there. The man built a bunker underground. A bunker for storage. What you storing like that? Why you have to build a bunker? Earlier on, they spoke about he's a survivalist. Come on, man. I'm not falling for that. Maybe you will fall for it, but not me. That made it for the Carnival, and she suddenly disappeared into thin air. Did they find her? She was from France. Her parents put out a missing person report. Well, no, they didn't find her, nah? There's a situation. Okay, that's not in Dominica. Let's continue.
Yeah, also got upset at people using the road.
You perjured!
Look, one of them dogs.
Lear's wife, Victoria, also got upset at people using the road.
Look, you see, they're getting upset for the locals using the road. So I would understand you probably vex with your neighbor for bringing the big truck. You're fearful that your building, the truck might mash up your building, your historical building, which you bring tourists to, which is mind-boggling to me that white people are bringing tourists to establishments that pretty much have a historical aspect to Dominica that was allowed. By whom? I don't know. But brothers and sisters, look the dog there. Look one of them dogs that loose. Gasa. If your dog bite me.
You perjured yourself, you lie!
Victoria Lehrer had agreed to give us an interview but changed her mind. According to the family spokesperson, these images are taken out of context.
Out of context? Really? We didn't just listen and see your attitude to people? Huh? What you mean taken out of context? Is you that making the context, huh? You think you is got to just change the context? Okay.
But we found others. Even hikers weren't spared.
Tourists, look, that taken out of context. That taken out of context too? Okay. But I would have drive on. Sorry, YouTuber. Sorry.
There were dogs jumping on the car. It was aggressive, very aggressive.
The dogs are protective over the property and also Mr. Lehrer.
That's fine. But make sure you're protective of them when I'm not doing you no wrong. Because if your dog come and bite me, Gasa, you don't have dog again.
For instance, if the dog is loose and you try to, it will attack you.
Mr. just saving fees so he can work on the property. I think that's what he's doing. But if the dog bite me, I remember one time a dog bite me and I swing the dog on its foot. I don't think the dog could walk after I finish with it. Yes, I hold the dog by 2 foot and I just spray and ring a rosy. Yes, brothers and sisters, the 2 hind foot I grab and I just swing it. Probably a good 15 times. It make it, boy. And then I yo.
Many families from the constituency who use them.
We need our road back. Very interesting.
Many families from the constituency who use that road
to
Dennis. Walk, exercise, had a lot of difficulties because they have a lot of dogs. They would come out and scare people. So we had a lot of challenges.
Denise Charles was a friend of the couple who was killed. She's also Dominica's Minister of Tourism. She represents the constituency where Daniel Langlois and Jonathan Lehrer's properties are located.
Nonsense. First of all, they say she was a friend of the Langlois. She was a friend. Yet still, where was Dennis when the bail was written? What statement did Dennis put out? Brothers and sisters, sometimes I think we need to wonder, we need to probably look at who our friends or those who claim our friends are. Because you cannot tell me the murderer accused is getting bail for the person that is very clear there was a motive to do harm to them. And up to now, you don't make a statement about your friends? Huh? Your friends that were helping your community. Matter of fact, your friends were helping your community more than you as the PAL rep. Your friends, you say? Okay.
She brought them all together to mediate the dispute, twice, to no avail.
We agreed at the meeting that we were going to engage the Ministry of Public Works to help us, to do a survey of the area and to see where we could have an alternative road to Daniel's property. Jonathan went ahead and just decided he was cutting another road.
So Jonathan himself went ahead with
road to Daniel's property. Jonathan went ahead and just decided he was cutting another road.
So Jonathan decided he's gonna go and cut another road. He's gonna tell the people, you know what, I don't want you passing on the public road that passing through my property. I'm gonna make you guys another road. And I would pass on that road. Boy, I different breed, you know. I suspect I different breed.
Once Lehrer had built the new road, he blocked the old one with boulders, making it
blocking public roads. You make your road, well, pass on your road now. Who tell you I want to pass on the road you make? Well, that is public road. You put a stone there and you telling me to pass somewhere else. Yo, I don't like trouble, you know, but when trouble find me, that is why I'm strong.
Impassable, but the new road wasn't safe.
So you build a road that's not safe for those people, and you put a big boulder with chain on it. Oh, okay.
Once you got to the top, and if your vehicle was even a little long, you couldn't make the turn. It was on the side of a cliff built on brittle rock, so that certainly couldn't work.
Donc ça c'est sûr que ça n'a pas fonctionné. En fait, on n'a pas eu le choix de la prendre parce qu'il y avait mis des grosses roches.
We didn't have a choice because he had put large rocks in the way. The only way we could pass was to use that road. That road wasn't safe.
C'était une route qui était pas sécuritaire.
The
That's why
dispute
if
boils
it's
down.
me, I break in the chain. I break in the chain and I move in the rock, or I get in somebody for back or something to move the rock there. I move in it. You're not building road for me. As a Dominican, you building road for me? That unsafe? Boy. That is one of the reasons why I suspect slavery happened for so long, you know, brothers and sisters. Because people who have been pacifists for so long that they don't want to find their own freedom, they're doing things that are unsafe. Because somebody else tell them that's what I want you to do. People don't know their rights, apparently. They don't know their rights at all.
To this, the Leroys say the main road is private. It's their home, they can do what they like. The Langlois say the road is public, has existed for a century.
Whether the Langlois said or Jonathan Lehers them saying road is public or private, that is a public road. It's not only that determining what is private and public road. The road was there before you. How you then come in and say, oh, that is private road? Who give you the right to do so?
They cannot be denied access. So a few days after the road was blocked, they sought and got court orders to have the road cleared of obstructions.
Motive. There's clear motive right there, brothers and sisters. Motive like whoa. Let me see what you're saying right there. Okay, CC Moore, you guys have to understand that no PAL rep has a say under the dictatorship of Scaro. Yeah, and it's very interesting that this situation was going on, knowing that Jonathan is a passport seller. He's a passport seller, brothers and sisters, and Scary them didn't say a word. They didn't come to see if they could mitigate anything, to solve a problem, nothing. He's your passport seller. He's not Dominica's passport seller, he's your passport seller. Dominica didn't hire me, you did, to sell passports. And you, no word, nothing. That's why every time we see the man always smiling. The man coming at court as if is a food by flavor. Is he going and eat? He go and get some potato salad, man. He go and get some French rice. Some Spanish rice, brothers and sisters, some gravy. The man happy like he going to go in a buffet. He going by hibachi, brothers and sisters.
There were opportunities to resolve the matter amicably, but Jonathan was not interested in that. He wanted to do his own thing.
So he wanted to do his own thing, despite of having a proper solution. He didn't care what you say as Minister of Tourism, or whatever minister you were at that time. He didn't care what you say at all. Is what he wants is his way or the highway, his byway, my way or the byway. Not true? Oh, okay.
To settle the matter, in 2018, Daniel Langlois asked the courts to intervene and rule once and for all.
2018. 2018, the courts came in to rule on the decision of what should take place.
Daniel's stance was always avoid confusion. Let's be peaceful. Let's avoid noise. He did not aggravate the situation.
And he was the one that died. He was the one who died. Sometimes, brothers and sisters, being a pacifist is needed. That's why I always tell people I understand the Martin Luther King's philosophy. Even though they sent dogs and water on them, they were bound together without fighting. They just stayed bound and unified. But I also understand the Malcolm X philosophy. Sometimes, when people believe they can take advantage of you, you need to fight. I remember back in the day, brothers and sisters, I used to fight a lot in school. I fight so much in school that my father brought me to a pastor. My father brought me to a pastor. And I'll never forget what the pastor said right there. I said, it's not me that looking for trouble. These people looking to pick on me. I don't making nobody pick on me at all. None. You can beat me, you know, but you must get licks. You must get blows. I'm not just going to stand and have you beat you. What? Nobody. And I so enjoyed sometimes too, because I used to give you blows. Yes, man. But anyways, I always used to make sure that I'm in the right. You hit me first. Okay? Fine. Anyways, brothers and sisters, pastor said that sometimes you have to fight. I will never forget that. That pastor was Pastor Johnson in Kinfield. He's in Jamaica now. I will never forget that right there. Anyways, let's continue.
He did not seek any problems. I feel that Jonathan was more the aggressor because he constantly would say one thing and do another. Daniel, on the other hand, was a man of his word.
The legal process has dragged on for 6 years. There was still no ruling when Daniel Langlois and Dominique Marchand were killed.
For real? That brings another point that I've heard other judges are saying. That there are matters in the court that have been delayed and delayed and delayed and delayed and delayed and delayed and delayed. There are matters that are supposed to go towards the court that are there for over 10 years. These matters are not being dealt with. They're just pushing and constantly pushing. I don't know if that is intentional for them to. There's something about the judicial system and the amount of things that are happening that maybe as a flooding of the judicial system where you have so much cases that you can then push back certain cases that would most likely condemn the present government. Because the other ones are calling the shots, brothers and sisters. You will say, okay, if a matter happened in 2010, then that matter should be heard before the matter in 2016. Not true? Depending on the gravity of the situation especially. But there are matters that are not being heard at all. How on earth the government have case to do with people using people for favors and those kind of things there? And instead of that being brought forth, they bring in court, bring in the opposition to court for inciting violence. Really? How is that more than the other one? I don't get it. But anyways, let's continue right there.
For Normand Langlois, it's this dispute, no question, that led to their death.
Avec tout ce qu'on avait vécu à travers les années.
But I read somewhere that there was a thing that was given stating that the land should be public. The land is a public land. So here, listening to them speak about the court case, and the court case matter never took place on the basis of solving that matter since 2018. 2023, these people passed away. 2023, December 6, December 1st, I believe it is, or December 2nd, whichever it is, brothers and sisters. Because they said 5 days later he was charged. So 5 days later, most likely will have to be on the first that it actually happened. The situation actually happened. That is very interesting, eh? So the court may have a matter in this, could be the cause. Because there was unresolved situation as a result of that. The court should have solved that to maybe, and in providing a solution, that matter would have been resolved. Could be, maybe, but we all know that Jonathan Leher likes his own way in things. Dennis Charles admitted that.
Question that led to their death.
Avec tout ce qu'on avait vécu à travers les années,
with everything that we've been through these last few years,
il n'y avait pas le moindre doute.
There isn't a shadow of a doubt.
That certainty is a sentiment shared by many on the island.
Look at them.
When we come back,
I know he's innocent, and that's a clear case.
I want you guys to listen to what the lawyer is saying right there. How crazy that is. What he had to say right there. Auto 71 is corruption in the judicial system. You don't think there's corruption in the judicial system? Huh? When I look at not just Dominica, I look at other places, especially in the United States. Some judges are in jail today for the very corruption that they have done. I'm just surprised that Kamala is not in jail right now, because there's a whole situation involving her in the police station that said that she used to abuse her power. You can Google that, brothers and sisters. Google that. Some of all you were supporting Kamala. Do you even know the atrocities that she was doing to black and brown people? You don't even know. Ignorance is truly something else.
we go to the prison where the accused are awaiting trial. Jonathan Lear says he's willing to talk to us.
Did he change his mind?
We're here at Stock Farm, a suburb of Dominica's capital, Roseau. This is where the national prison is located, where Jonathan Lear has been awaiting trial since December. His lawyer and his publicist both assured us that he has no objection to speaking to us.
But he's not gonna do it. I'm sure he's not gonna do it.
If we get permission from the prison warden. Thank you.
No problem.
Unfortunately, that wasn't going to happen on this trip.
Of course. Of course not.
Jonathan Lear's lawyer is also here. He just met his client, and his message to us is simple.
I know he's innocent, and that's a clear case. They're alleging that at a particular time, the both victims, or alleged victims, were killed. That's what they're saying.
Yeah.
They're indicating what time they think it occurred. They're also disclosing to us documents and statement that says that the first time our client was seen at the area was 5 hours later.
So in other words, the prosecution so far cannot say where Mr. Leary was at the time.
And they're required to say, not us.
No, I get it. Okay.
They're required to say where he was.
Yet, this spring, investigators
So
told
you're saying based on the time frame that they're saying that they saw them 5 hours later from the incident that took place? Whether they got the timing right or not, we know that 2 people died. We know that there was an argument between the neighbors. We know that these folks were doing well with their neighbors. Not their neighbors, the community. Everybody in Soufriere loved these folks. These folks used to give to Soufriere, help elevate these people. Even to the point where I heard a particular story where they helped with a school and were housing certain people who needed help. So they were doing well with the community. It's just that they had a problem with this particular Jonathan Lear, them people. And not just them, the community too, or the individuals who used to pass there to get to their homes and travel. Even tourists who were having problems with these people passing on that road. So the common denominator here is not everybody else, you know. It's Jonathan Lear and the woman too. So it's very clear that there is a motive behind the argument or what could have been why they decided to take the neighbor's life.
I get it.
They're required to say where he was.
Yet, this spring, investigators told the judge the evidence is overwhelming. Here's the most likely scenario, not yet tested in court, but based on what the family has learned from police and people at the scene. Maggie Fontaine remembers that day. It was Thursday, November 30th, 2023, the day before the bodies were discovered.
Oh,
I think it was.
So wait, that's December 1st. December 31st.
I spoke to Dominic. So she told me, well, Daniel is just doing some work there. As soon as he's done, they will come down for the meal.
She was away, but she has a clear idea of the time Daniel Langlois and Dominique Marchand came to pick up the meals she had prepared for them.
I would suggest after 5 when they left there.
They headed back towards Colibri Ridge, but didn't drive for long. What they saw probably looked like what they had previously recorded on their dash cams. Here, on the infamous road through Bois Côtelette, Robert Snyder allegedly shot at Daniel Langlois, who then lost control of his SUV.
What is this?
Then, the shooter shot and killed Dominique Marchand.
So that means they need to find the bullets. And the bullets should be traced back to the gun. Has this been done already, guys? Has this been done yet? Because if he has a licensed firearm, he has to have bullets for this firearm. If he has bullets for the firearm, then that has it should be traceable bullets unless they decided to go and get non-traceable bullets. And if they shot at the vehicle, then there should be some sort of bullet holes. But then again, the vehicle was burned. Probably that's why it was burned, to remove the evidence of that. Maybe they also went, after they did the individuals harm, removed the bullet structure, and then burned the vehicle so that the vehicle, you know, would not look like it had any bullet wounds or nothing of that sort. Could that be? Because one of the things that we have been told is that there was acid used. So if you're trying to get rid of an evidence, brothers and sisters, there's a, let's say you pelleted a window. The window didn't break, but your bullet went through it. To get rid of that window, to prove that there was a bullet passing through this thing, you would mash up the window. Not true. You would mash up the window to the point where you would not even be able to recognize if there was a bullet that passed through it or not. Therefore, if they shot at the vehicle and the vehicle was burnt and chemicals was used, that shows there's also some sort of motive. Not only that, but there was evidence on the man's leg. There was evidence of the man's leg. They say, oh, we will get into that part. We will get into that part, brothers and sisters. Vicky, big up yourself for being a part of these vibrations as well. Of course, Vicky J. Lewis is saying this was a public road before Jonathan Lear bought the land at Boakotle. Of course, Vicky is one of the individuals who knows Soufriere very well. That's where she's from. So she would definitely know that right there. So the road was a long time there before Jonathan Lear them came into the picture. New Wave Entertainment, you asking for a miracle? Police lacking investigative. Yeah, I don't understand what we are police for. It seems like the police being trained to go after the citizens. I remember the situation that took place with the bus drivers, brothers and sisters, and police were fighting the bus drivers, protesting for their rights to get better. Bus drivers were protesting against bus drivers, and the police themselves were fighting against the bus drivers, saying, guys, we are fed up, we need some assistance, my God. Interesting. Let's continue.
He then put Daniel's body in the back seat. One of the accused would have taken the wheel, turned the car around, and drove for a few minutes before turning left onto this path.
Yep.
They stopped a couple of 100 meters further.
This is why forensics is needed. But then again, they burnt the vehicle down, completely removing the evidence that would showcase fingerprints. Interesting. But the evidence on his leg would say something, eh? All right then.
Céline Casey was told what happened next by officers at the scene.
And they said everything burned. I asked, were there bodies? They said it didn't burn with gasoline, it burned with acid. I thought, this is completely sick. You have to be sick to burn a car with acid? They said we can't identify anything on the bodies.
The accused allegedly pushed the SUV towards the left of the path, so it would roll down the ravine. But that's not what happened.
So it would have looked, so from my understanding, they probably looked to push the vehicle down from the ravine, from a hill point of view, so that the vehicle could crash and then maybe catch on fire. And after it catch on fire, these people, after crashing, would be knocked out, and the fire would engulf them, and then it will look like an accident. But that's not what happened, brothers and sisters. Take a listen.
SUV towards the left of the path, so it would roll down the ravine. But that's not what happened. The burning vehicle came to a stop here on the right.
Oh, you see in the mark right there, brothers and sisters. So no crashing and then igniting of anything and thing. The vehicle stopped right there.
You can see the rocks are still covered in melted plastic. According to our information, the accused had to free the vehicle and push it back again towards the ravine. But you can see the rocks are still covered in melted plastic. According to our information, the accused had to free the vehicle and push it back again towards the ravine. But instead of falling into the forest, it got caught on this tree.
So all their plans changed, brothers and sisters. Instead of it going down there to make a big crash noise and then, things ignite and so forth to look like an accident, that is not the case at all. More, my big up yourself for definitely, I appreciate the 279 that you sent me right there on this year's super chat. I appreciate you 100%. Like I indicated before, guys, you can definitely send in some funds from time to time if you want to show some support to what we do on this here channel. So I do appreciate every single one of you guys who have sent a little funds here and there. I do appreciate you 100%. Momai, big up yourself right there. Of course, Vicky, of course, is saying this was a public road. Okay, I read this one. New Wave Entertainment, you asking for a miracle? Yeah, exactly. Momai, I agree. That's why all criminals are out. Yeah. Sometimes you tend to wonder what kind of judicial system Dominica running there. What kind of thing? But then again, sometimes they probably releasing certain people so that these people can probably cause a little ruckus in society, so that certain people can behave themselves. I don't know. It could be. Vicky, was there any forensic evidence performed to find evidence? I understood that his leg got burned. Yeah, his leg got burned. But you'll be interesting to find out what they said was the cause of his leg getting burned right there. But not to my knowledge. Not to my knowledge. I think they identified them. I think this video will say how they identified them right there. New Wave Entertainment, of course not, Vicky. Yeah, they haven't done that yet.
This theory of events.
Look what we were just talking about right there. You know? Look what we were just talking about right there, brothers and sisters. It's not hearsay. His leg was indeed, burnt.
And could also explain the visible injuries on Robert Snyder as he left the courthouse a few days after the killings.
And look, some markings on his hand as well. So there's evidence that says something went wrong. This never showed up on them before. All of a sudden, when we found the vehicle that was burnt, I mean, there's clear evidence that there must have been some tampering from them. Yet still the guy gets bail. Really?
Snyder's wife's Facebook profile paints a picture of a man a world away from such a violent crime.
That's why you have to be careful what people post, especially on Instagram. And people having all sorts of TikTok filters and Instagram filters and so forth and so forth. Because people want to make it seem like their life is the best, The life is the best, and you never know what kind of chaos is happening underneath as well. So just be mindful, brothers and sisters. Sometimes you feel your life is terrible. Your life better than people. You think, oh, they're looking fine and that. You never know what's going on. Be a beating they could be getting, brothers and sisters. You never know. And I'm just talking about the man beating the woman, I'm talking about the woman just beat man to it. And man don't want to embarrass themselves. So you never know what's going on, brothers and sisters. You have to be mindful of that right there. Let's continue.
It portrays a family man, a mechanic, living in Tampa Bay, Florida, a football-playing son, a pharmacist wife. She told us he's not a hitman hired by Learer. Snyder was hired long-term to fix buses at the plantation. He had been there for months. That's at odds with what Kern Toussaint, who also works at the plantation, told us. He says that Robert Snyder had just arrived.
How long was he here for?
I can't remember the exact date he came. Only a week. Since before that whole incident. Yeah, so just a week.
Hold on, let's go back.
Snyder was hired long-term. She told us he's not a hitman hired by Learer.
That's interesting, eh? We were told that he was a hitman hired by Learer, by Jonathan.
Son, a pharmacist wife. She told us he's not a hitman hired by Learer. Snyder was hired long-term to fix buses at the plantation. He had been there for months.
He has been there for months. You hear that, guys? He has been there for months. The worker who has been working there for longer than months never saw him there for months. They didn't get the story right.
That's at odds with what Kern Toussaint, who also works at the plantation, told us. He says that Robert Snyder had just arrived.
How long was he here for?
I can't remember the exact date he came. Only a week.
So let's say a month. You mistake him. Well, I don't think you can mistake a month. Nah? They said months. He has been there for months. The worker who has been there doing the caretaking of the facility would pretty much know the ins and outs of the place. Because, I mean, Margaret said he's the one giving the people the tour. Okay? He would know the ins and outs and, of course, know who is there and who's not there. He has been there for a week. Based off his information. If somebody there for a month, for a month, you don't think he will know? But for months, brothers and sisters, months is more than 2 weeks. Okay, then.
Before that whole incident, yeah, so just a week. Maybe not even all that, maybe just a few days.
A few days?
Never met him before, didn't know who he was.
Remember those burns on Snyder's legs? Toussaint says those were from hot radiator fluid.
No, of course. Hot radiator fluid. hot radiator fluid, brothers and sisters, that peeled the man's skin like that.
Those burns on Snyder's legs, Toussaint says those were from hot...
And he that saying that again, you know. He that saying that
just
again.
a week. Maybe not even all that. Maybe just a few days. Never met him before. Didn't know who he was.
Hopefully the journalist people can ask him how he knows his hot radiator fluid.
Remember those burns on Snyder's legs? Toussaint says those were from hot radiator fluid. That's also the explanation put forward by Snyder's defense.
You must have tell him to say that.
This one over there, radiator, mess.
Were you there when that happened?
Was a mess. I have no idea who he is. You know, so if he's been accused, if he's one of the accused, I cannot defend him.
But
okay. But were you there to know that it was a hot radiator fluid that dropped on his leg?
Toussaint will defend his boss.
Of course he's his boss. That's his meal ticket. Of course, he probably getting paid well from the man too. That is his meal ticket. You think he's going to say, oh, Mr. Sucks? And it's true. And then be out of job, brothers and sisters. Dominica don't have much jobs to give now. You have to defend your boss, boy. Also, have to defend our boss. Because if we don't defend boss, we out of job. Isn't that what is happening in Dominica today, brothers and sisters? We are defending our government. Because we're fearful of losing the little jobs that we have. I could be wrong, I could be wrong. Okay, New Wave, big up yourself for another contribution. 5 gifted, I appreciate that. Buy a shandy. Yeah, man, I can always buy a shandy with that, you know. You know I love my shandy already. After all. Shandy and potato salad making ding da. But I appreciate you New Wave for the $5 gifted right there, guys. Let me go up a bit up. Okay. Let's celebrate their first. Okay. More my celebrating your first super on the live stream right there. Vicky, of course. Vicky saying, I think that they intended to push the vehicle down the ravine because the vehicle would have ended up in the Atlantic Ocean. Okay. Well, that's possible. That's possible. So it could look like a big... Okay, I get what you're saying right now. I get it. Okay, so the vehicle would still likely explode. If it has to go down, probably go over a cliff. Is there a cliff in that region right there? Vicky, is there a cliff in that region where the vehicle would have plunged over a cliff and then into the Atlantic Ocean? Or 2718, it's only his leg that burned. No, there's clear marks on their hands as well. On the palm of their hands. So when he was in the vehicle, they showed his hands had some stuff as well. New Wave Entertainment, the local guy is not telling the truth. I think the local guy is protecting his interests. That's what I think is happening right there. So, but he did admit something that probably they did not go over. How long was the guy, Robert Snyder, there? He said it could have been a week or even less than that, a few days. However, their story was Robert Snyder was there for months. Interesting. That is a key point right there. Let's continue.
And it's just, I would consider, you know, a very open and loving man. Mr. There is no murderer.
Okay, you that say that we father, you know the man, huh? You know him? Okay. You work for him, you're probably good worker, so he cool with you. Just like, for example, I knew there was an individual, I used to work at Ross before, and I know a particular individual who had racist tendencies. He wasn't racist to me at all. He used to check I as one of the individuals, he can talk to and have a real deep conversation if he needs to. I was always cool with everybody. I was chill and vibing with everybody. I don't care what position you had. He was some main person for a particular department. I would say that department right there, some white guy. Although he was cool with me, with the people who were under him, they felt he was like a thing. Also, one of my bosses back in the day, the people who I worked with, my coworkers, did not like one of my bosses. They didn't like my boss at all. But I know this because I check in, people just used to come and tell me all kind of things. And I decided whether you like the lady or not, I'm going to go and cool out and chill with the lady to the point where the lady liked me. There was even a girl I used to check back in the day. in Ross, and she knew about it and wanted to. She met up with both of us and talking different things to find out, where we stand in and this kind of things. You check? And I was kind of like more. Anyways, I don't want to give too much information in that regard, right there. So sometimes people treat different people differently. So they might have been cool with you because maybe you was a good worker, maybe you did everything that they wanted you to do. So they felt okay, you're obedient and so forth and so forth. So they didn't have much squabbles with you. But look at how they treated the other individuals. They were letting go their dogs on people. They may not have let go their dogs on you, but they were letting go on people. So that says a lot. BSC is saying they didn't tell the story to tell. They didn't tell him. Well, I wouldn't call him that, okay? I mean, the man is just looking out for his interests, okay? So if you want to call him that, that's you. But the man looking out for his interests, that's his meal ticket. He probably still working there today. If he had said something, the lady probably would have fired him because the lady not inside, The lady outside, so most likely in the estate, So, yeah. Months versus weeks not adding up. A week. A few days, matter of fact. He said not even a week, a few days. So it definitely doesn't add up at all right there. Guys, let's continue.
Mr. Leroy is no murder. He was wrongfully accused and we stand by that.
He's wrongfully accused there. Your interest you're looking for. That's my take on it.
Lennox Lawrence represents both Snyder and Leroy. He didn't talk about Snyder much in our interview. He does go on about Leroy's supposed prostate cancer.
You see, that's the crazy part to me. Now, brothers and sisters, if you look at people who have prostate cancer, especially persons who have had it for quite some time, and you see the elevation standing of it right there. First of all, how did they know he had prostate cancer without even testing if he had it? How did they know he had it if they didn't even test that he had it? Second, there's no evidence to say that the man is dwindling. In fact, they say the man getting fatter. And from what I saw back in the day to what I saw now, brothers and sisters, I can tell that he has definitely had some growth. To me, cancer dwindles. Cancer feeds on you, So if it feeding on you, how are you looking better today than you were looking back then? But then you want to come and say he has prostate cancer. All right. He maybe could have it, but I'm not seeing the evidence of it. No?
Much in our interview. He does.
Hold on. Auto718, $10 gifted. I appreciate that right there. Auto718 is saying that guy, Kearney, is not my cousin, and I don't trust that guy. I thought you say he could have been your cousin. He could have been your cousin. If he might be your cousin, and you just don't want him because you figure, he looks like he's defending certain people. But like I indicated before, he most likely is defending his interests. That's what he's doing. He's defending his interests.
Does go on about Leroy's supposed prostate cancer.
Hold on, let me see how much people like the video, guys. Guys, there are 65 of you guys in the building right now. 34 likes. I appreciate the halfway mark, but can we guys give the thumbs up to this here video? Are we going good? If we're going good, guys, give a thumbs up to this here video. I appreciate all those who have been giving some gifted. I appreciate that 150% right there. Big up all yourself one time. I appreciate that right there. I think I need to do more of them so you guys can continue to do the contributions in that regard. I appreciate it 100%. Of course, it's going to help to push these videos further and further in that regard. Of course, I want to do something new for the new year. I want to elevate a bit more when it comes on to this thing. So normally I try to do the podcasts once a week, but I want to do more of the interactions on Brbptv. So the reaction channel is a bit different for the Brbptv reactions. It's kind of like these kind of vibrations right there. But like I indicated before, brothers and sisters, we're going to be doing something a bit different as well. Also, if you have not subscribed or followed my social media, you can just type in Brbptv_Mystics or Brbptv CEO or CEO_Brbptv. All the links in the description so you guys can check it out right there. Is in this one or on Mystics Reacts? It should be in the about, guys, so you can definitely check it out right there. One of the things that I'm gonna be doing, I'm posting some of my videos that I've been doing for the year, the little snippets and stuff. I'm gonna be posting them on Instagram and on TikTok. I'm also on TikTok as well. So that is something right there. But anyways, guys, without all that situation I'm talking about right there, let's get into the vibrations. Karaoke happening right now, man. I need to go and belt my vocals. Yes, man. Yes, man, brothers and sisters. Let's continue right there.
We know this with the state of his prostate and condition right now, that we don't have the capability here of taking care of him properly.
Let's bring that back a bit.
Go against both Snyder and Learer. He didn't talk about Snyder much in our interview. He does go on about Learer's supposed prostate cancer.
We know this with the state of his prostate and condition right now, that we don't have the capability here of taking care of him properly.
So we know we don't have the capability of taking care of it. We don't have the capability of taking care of it. You know, it's bush. We have the capabilities, brothers and sisters. We just don't know we have the capabilities yet. I just decided to put that out there. But why are you talking about prostate cancer? Has there been any evidence? Has the court even asked that there's evidence to prove that he has prostate cancer? Has the court even asked for that? Has the court asked to prove that he has some sort of illness? So I can just come in, if I've been alleged to have I'm committed a crime or something, I can just come and say I have prostate cancer? Huh? I can just come and say, guys, I have prostate cancer, I need some help. And then that's it? Really? Really? Okay.
Lawrence requested his client be released on bail in order to undergo treatment in the United States.
Of course. Of course.
He provided a medical report to back up his claim.
Oh, they had a medical report? What did the medical report state? Was it some doctor that decided to sign in? You have to be mindful of these things too, you know, guys. Was it a medical report of a doctor saying that he had this, and then that doctor signed it? Just like how certain people just not forge, but actually sign documents that not necessarily reflecting the truth, but because you need a document. You know, like when you say, boy, go to your doctor friend. Go to your doctor friend to sign a medical paper or something of that sort to prove that you were sick, and you're not sick, you just happen to leave the country. You just happen to leave the country, but you need a medical note to prove that you were sick. So in other words, if your vacation started on Monday and you need to leave on Wednesday, okay, you have your medical doctor write a note for you. You're not sick, but because it's your partner, your friend, they write it for you and they say, okay, you sick? Or the same day you leave to go overseas. I'm not saying it's me that do that, you know, guys. I'm not saying I know people that do that either. I just say it.
A report the judge said was not compelling, providing...
Oh, okay. So the judge said not compelling.
Report to back up his claim.
Mm-hmm.
A report the judge said...
medical... So that's a doctor's name who did the medical report. Medical report was not compelling. There was a number of reasons his expert report was not as persuasive as the claimant may have wished. Observations made about the doctor's report include...
It was not compelling.
It is noted that Dr. Brbptv is not a urologist. I tell you, guys, didn't I tell you that? I tell you that. You just go to your doctor friend and say, I'm sick. So they just write a note for you. Doesn't mean it's true. But it's very clear right there. It is noted that doctor, whoever this individual is not a urologist. He's not a urologist, whoever he or she is. He's a primary care physician. He can make referrals to a specialist. He did not indicate he referred Mr. Lear to any expert. Rather, he stated what?
Providing...
Oh my goodness. They should have put the whole report, man. That's crazy.
Claim. A report the judge said...
Hold on, I think we have it there, you know. He did not indicate that he referred Mr. Lear to any expert. Rather, he stated what needs to be done. How you know what needs to be done? You're a urologist. While his report is dated on the 20th of February 2024, it is unclear as to when he did, in fact, examine the claimant. How can he examine the claimant and say that he has this? A physician, you're a primary care physician. Your primary care physician, you're supposed to send him to a urologist to find out if he actually has cancer. You claim he has cancer. They use some sort of doctor. I was right. Guys, give this video a thumbs up, man. Give this video a thumbs up if you've not done so yet, man. Click the thumbs up button. I was right. Let us get some doctor to write statement to say he's sick. But then the man, you looking at the man looking like he getting better. Like they're feeding him the kind of pork and chicken or whatever they're feeding him, and the man just enjoying his life. That's why he always smiling like that. You think a man that know he has cancer and dying from that cancer, you think he can be smiling like that on a constant basis? Really? When a man knows that certain things is working in his favor, he's smiling like that. They probably tell him we have to keep you there for a while to make the people feel or let things settle a bit. And and it's true, things did settle because back in the day, you had a lot of people from Soufriere there. When you had the bail application being sent for, and a lot of people from Soufriere were there. Today, where were the people of Soufriere? Less than 10 people were there. Less than 10 people, so they're waiting for things to settle. That is human conditioning, brothers and sisters. You have to understand how human works. They wait for some time for things to die down before they can act. And it's very clear that that actually worked. My goodness. Let me read some other stuff right there. Okay, they didn't tell the boot. Okay, more months versus week. The police and whoever the lawyer was lapse on this case. More am I saying the police and whoever the lawyer was lapse on this case. Yeah, I think they lapse indeed. Because there's very clear evidence there. Clear evidence when it comes down to this situation right there. How on earth he get bail to get... How on earth the man get bail? My goodness, how he get bail to go? There was no urologist that signed any document for the man to say that he has cancer, needs medical treatment. How on earth now they giving him bail to go and seek medical treatment? Don't you think this is some sort of setup? Huh? Don't you think that it was meant to be that way? Keep him there for a while, make him be in one of the places that is the best part of prison, so he'll be able to chill, relax, and watch TV and so forth and so forth. Maybe give him internet for him to be able... Brothers and sisters, there are people in prison with phones in Dominica, you know. It are people in prison with phones. I don't have to sell it, but I just say things can possibly happen. You see me? Anyways, Otto 718, they should arrest the Kearney fella as well. He knows too much. He's not involved in that business. Unless they associated him of helping, then they would be able to arrest him as well. But it's very clear that the two individuals were the ones, who had some sort of imprint on them that indicated that they may have been the ones who did this. And I say may have very loosely. Okay? Mormai is saying, I agree with you. Okay, you agree with him right there. Lady Go at fighting. Lady Go is saying, I'm still waiting. The court system is backed up. Yeah, it's very much backed up. 2 judges, I believe, stated the same sentiment right there. Mormai is saying, what does that say about the hospital? You get it. You get it. It says a lot.
The judge said was not compelling, providing no conclusive findings he has.
So there's no conclusive finding that he has cancer. There's no conclusive evidence at all that he has cancer. Just a doctor note saying that he had this because that's what you did. You're a primary care physician, not a urologist. Yet still today, they're talking about giving him bail. Brothers and sisters, I think this was concocted right there, man. I honestly, let's
cancer.
Continue.
And that he would have the means to abscond if he was granted bail.
Of course. Of course he would have the means to abscond or skip out on and don't come back Dominica. They have internet. They don't even need him to come Dominica. He can sell his people them down Dominica to take care of the estate and never come, never return. You're still granting him bail? Really? Nah, man.
He did not do what he's alleged to have done.
That's what you say. Your client that Dewi. Your client that Dewi. Your client is always innocent, even though you know your client not innocent. I spoke to different lawyers, sometimes they defending people and they defend them successfully. And when I talk to some of them, they say they know the client is guilty. They know their client is guilty, but if you are able to use the laws in certain mannerisms to get your client free, then that's not their fault. They utilize the laws. But they know their client is guilty of the act.
Lawrence patiently answered all of our questions.
I have not seen the bodies. I have not seen the reports on the bodies.
So how you know you didn't do it if you don't even see the bodies? You don't even see the report on the bodies, but you know he's innocent.
But there's one question he didn't seem to appreciate.
That is the question, brothers and sisters. That is what. Brothers and sisters, listen to that carefully. Before we listen to that, let me see what Vicky is saying right there. I agree that there should have been more people from Sufri and Scott said protesting near the court. Yes. Yes, but they understand human, brothers and sisters. I knew these things were going to happen too, you know. I said that in the reaction when I saw these people doing that. I said that in the previous reaction. We will see how much support they give when time comes for them to really show themselves. I said, indicated that. And so said, so done. It's very easy to understand human behavior, you know. Very, very easy to understand human behavior right there. Brothers and sisters, 61 of you guys in the building right now, 40 likes. Can you click the thumbs up button for me right there? I would appreciate that as well. Click the thumbs up button, guys, helping to push these videos further and further in that regard right there. So just click the thumbs up button. 65 of you guys in the building. Definitely click the thumbs up button for me as well. Without further ado, brothers and sisters, let's continue.
About this woman who was present at the bail hearing.
Mamzelle. Who is Mamzelle, brothers and sisters? Who is this woman right there? Have you seen this woman before? Who is she? In glasses, probably with a wig on her head, probably trying to disguise herself.
She offered her building as a bond, a guarantee that Lira would not flee if he were released.
She's the one who offered the surety for Lira and saying that he would not flee. We foolish now? We foolish?
I have a question about Mrs. Rhoda Joseph. Why did she act as a surety, as a guarantee for Mr. Lira as she...
Brothers, let me bring that back again. Let me bring that back so we can get the full scope.
But there's one question he didn't seem to appreciate. About this woman who was present at the bail hearing. She offered her building as a bond, a guarantee that Lira would not flee if he were released.
I have a question about Mrs. Rhoda Joseph. Why did she act as a surety, as a guarantee for Mr. Lira as she is, I believe, high-ranking person in the government?
A high-ranking person in the government is offering their building to provide Jonathan Lehrer, who she has no dealing with from my understanding. None at all. She's offering her building as a surety in the claim that he would not flee. High-ranking government official. And Scary don't know nothing about that. Nothing. No. Your passport seller, you have no dealings with that. Okay.
Is that a question?
High-ranking person in the government.
Why is that a question?
Well, one arm of the state is prosecuting Mr. Lira, and a civil servant is acting as a guarantee for him. Don't you see a question that can be raised?
Oh,
Hey.
Is acting as a guarantee for him. Don't you see a question that can be raised?
Oh, I don't think that's a proper question at all. I don't see.
You do think that's a proper question? One part of the state is prosecuting a man for being an alleged murderer to the people's champion, so to speak, or Soufriere. Not Dennis Charles, the people's champion, Jonathan Daniel Langlois. The other part of the state is offering the bail or offering a surety on the basis that they will foot the bill. The other part of the government, you know, brothers and sisters. That's why I told you guys when Black Modem was talking, all that is smoke screen. All that is smoke screen. I know what I'm saying, you know, I know what smoke screen looks like. They want to pretend, oh, that shouldn't be, we don't like this thing. The court come in and say, oh, you know, we don't like what you're saying about that, and the court is justice and this and that, this and that. And they're going back and forth like it's text they texting on WhatsApp. One part of the state is prosecuting their passport seller. The other one is putting up a surety for that passport seller to get bail. Am I confused? Am I on a right path somewhere? Am I tickling some feathers in that regard?
I don't understand the question or even why it will be asked.
When we come back,
Proper question.
This is what he's
guarantee
saying.
for him. Don't you see a question that can be raised?
No, I don't think that's a proper question at all. I don't understand the question or even why it will be asked.
You don't understand the question or why it would be asked? One part of the state is prosecuting the passport seller for allegedly taking the life of somebody. The other part of the state is putting up surety or being the surety for the same passport seller. And you checking, you don't understand the question of why this question would be asked. Yo.
when we come back.
Let me read some of your comments right there. I'm saying the consistent is backed up. Yes. What does that say about the hospital? Yeah. Hospital tripping. I agree. There shouldn't be more people from Momaya. How is he going to get medical treatment in the United States, but first needs to renounce his U.S. Citizenship? So, yes, that's a good question right there. So they're saying that he needs to renounce his U.S. Citizenship. Then he needs to go to Barbados to get a visa. He needs to renounce his U.S. visa, citizenship, and then he needs to go to Barbados to get a visa. A murder accused. Brothers and sisters, so, as a murderer accused, you're going to go to an embassy. Let's say he's successful in renouncing his U.S. citizenship, brothers and sisters, okay? You're going to go to a U.S. embassy as somebody who has potentially committed murder to then get the possibility of going to an embassy, U.S. embassy, to get a visa after you are murderer accused, and you think you will get a visa. Sometimes in life, certain things just doesn't make sense because they just don't make sense at all. But I think they probably put that stipulation out there to make it seem, oh, we're trying our best to keep him and this kind of things there, blah, blah, blah. And if he happens to escape, he escapes, but we put all certain things in positions. When you read the document, brothers and sisters, they say nobody can tell a U.S. citizen to renounce their citizenship. Nobody can do that. The person has to do it from their free will. And they can say that they do it under duress. You know what about contracts? Contracts, brothers and sisters, when you do things under duress, that contract is null and void. Moma is then saying so many items to follow up on. Oh my goodness. My lawyer cousins was right. I needed to study law. Yeah, you need to go and study law, man. People have been telling me the same thing too, because I'm very good in understanding. There are people who have been asking me certain questions, and when I told them what to do and this kind of things there, it worked. So I think the law can have its ups and its downs, no doubt about it. But if you understand the basic premise of the law, brothers and sisters, you can be successful in it. It's just that, you have to get to a lot of reading right there. BSC saying smells of skeleton. Yes, I clearly believe so. He's not saying much. Why would you come on the radio and say, hey, oh no, this and that, this and that? You have to stay quiet. You do your thing on the wraps. You send the right set of people to do your bidding for you. And you stay quiet. But Mr. Leaks, Mormai is saying, but we have to understand to that the prosecutor and defense all work with the government together with the accused. Yeah, the prosecutor, you know how they rule already. You know how they rule already. New Wave Entertainment, the lawyer is also a passport seller. Birds of a feather not flock together, nah. Vicky is saying if he doesn't understand, then he shouldn't be a lawyer. Yeah. But of course, that's something that they would say in journalists. As when sometimes when you don't know the answer, you know the answer, but you're pretending. You're pretending I don't understand that question. No, I don't understand the question or why that question needs to be asked. Therefore, shutting down that question, even though it was properly explained to him, he was saying, I don't understand the question and why it needs to be asked. Then you'll go on a whole tirade trying to explain, even though you explain it to him already. Then it's just a constant circle of not answering the questions. I just listen to the United States Congress, you know. I just listen to how they do certain things. It's very interesting to see. And I notice sometimes people tend to use this tactic as well. In journalism, if you understand journalism, when you're asking questions, sometimes you have to flip the question on another aspect so you can get the person to answer something. And when the person answers something, then you bring back that question on them. That's how, you know, you can get answers out of people. Or sometimes putting the question that you want to ask them in a different format without actually them realizing that you asked them the question that they answered. So it's all trickery and stuff, brothers and sisters. And it seems like this guy knows this thing.
Power, politics, and passports.
Dominica sold passports to criminals, politically exposed individuals.
Facts. That's why Dominica ended up losing visa-free access to a number of nations, including the United Kingdom right there. A Commonwealth country restricted from visa-free. Commonwealth country restricted from visa-free access.
And money launderers. That's the big thing.
Let me bring that back. Or you probably didn't hear. What are they selling passports to?
We come back. Power, politics, and passports.
Dominica sold passports to criminals, politically exposed individuals, and money launderers. That's the big thing.
Money launderers.
Daniel Langlois and Dominique Marchand's death were marked at a special ceremony in a space they had founded to help the creative community. And while people grieved in Montreal, in Dominica, some were already questioning links the accused, Jonathan Lehrer, had to the upper echelons of politics.
He was one of the minor players. Having said that, you don't even get to be a minor player in the passport program without having some connection to the government.
Of course.
Zach Copeland and his team at the Organized Crime and Corruption Project had been following the trail of money launderers from Iran. And that trail
led them to Dominica. And they came and told the people about it.
Led to surprising revelations, and right back here to Dominica.
The money launderers.
They were not looking for Dominica, you know, brothers and sisters. They were not looking for Dominica. They were in Iran looking for the corruption in Iran. And in looking for the corruption in Iran, it led them to Dominica. What does that tell you? Nothing? Okay.
Been working through companies in Hong Kong that they based out of China, but all these companies were opened by Iranians with Dominica passports. And we thought that there might be a way to reverse engineer more Iranian money launderers by getting a full list of Dominica passport buyers. Once I obtained the list, I realized it was a much bigger story than just Iran.
Remember the kind of lies they told the Dominican people? Saying Dominican sold this amount of passports? And they came back and they found out amongst all 5 or 6 countries, amongst all the Caribbean countries within our vicinity that were selling passports, Dominica sold almost half.
Zach Copeland's team found an additional layer of suspected corruption leading to the very top of Dominica's government.
So, do you think Dominica corruption? Or you think? You think why the corresponding banks kind of trace back monies and as a result they want to pass monies to Dominica? You don't think something of that sort is happening?
Dominica is lush and beautiful.
Of course.
But it's also one of the poorest countries in the Caribbean.
It is the poorest country in the Caribbean. It didn't used to be that way. Dominica is talking about millions upon millions of dollars. It's rather interesting. We have been selling our birthright to different people, including Iraq, who also have Iran, who also have our birthright. They have Dominica's birthright, brothers and sisters, and as a result of that, they were opening all sorts of things where they were not able to do previously before. You see the craziness that is happening, brothers and sisters, and you know who's going to pay the price? You, those Dominican people. You are going to pay the price for this. I mean, you already start paying, you just don't realize it yet. You cannot go to England visa-free. Can you? Okay. Try it now and see.
To make matters worse, its economy was crippled by Hurricane Maria in 2017. So, with few resources at its disposal, the government decided to sell the one thing the country has control over: citizenship.
So it cannot go into agriculture. It cannot boost up education. It cannot go into the blue economy, according to Mr. Thompson, Dr. Thompson Fontaine. It cannot do these things. The one thing we have control over, and what I mean control over, meaning the government has full control over in knowing how much money can come into the country or not, is the passports. They don't even send it to the consolidated fund. This is one of the stipulations the EU, European Union, had. Make sure all money is raised as a result of CBI will come to the home country. But and sisters, do not be surprised if Dominica loses visa-free access to the European Union in 2025. Remember, I said it here first. Only have to leave. All right then.
Thompson Fontaine is the leader of the main
Hey, big up Luke Thompson here.
opposition party in Dominica. He says his country's passport comes with a major perk.
The overwhelming majority of persons seeking Dominican passports are persons who want visa-free access to Europe.
Did you do that again, no?
Copland noticed the same thing as he was going through the list of Dominica's newest citizens.
Oh, here's a sanctioned Russian oligarch. Here's a war criminal. Here's a guy who was sanctioned for smuggling blood gold out of Congo. There's a lot more shady individuals than just Iranian money launderers.
And then you have Iranian money launderers, and you have all these people there. And yet still scared to come and tell the Dominican people that Dominica has the most, or one of the most robust due diligence processes.
This promotional video aimed at a Russian clientele promises confidentiality and never having to step foot in Dominica.
That is my problem with the visa, the passport problem, passport selling. I personally believe that people who are able to obtain a Dominica passport should have set their foot in Dominica. People like Robert Ross or Ross Robert, whatever, Ross, brothers and sisters, came to Dominica. He loved Dominica, fell in love in Dominica, and wanted to invest in Dominica. That, I believe, is how things should be done. You're not going overseas, wherever, Iran or wherever. Never set foot in Dominica, and then you invest in and have how much business in Dominica. Really? You know what offshore banks Dominica have? You know why some of them offshore banks cool in Dominica? Because of the same corresponding banks. By going too far. Let me continue right there.
In order to become a citizen,
We had 8,000 names. We had several thousand Iranians. We had several thousand Iraqis. And then you would have other nationalities. We had about 600 Chinese. And you had 300 or 400 Russians. Dominica sold passports to criminals, politically exposed individuals, and money launderers. And
that's who Dominica sold passports to. That's why Dominica was the only country that United Kingdom took away visa-free access from. The only one.
That's a big thing. We have lost a visa-free entry into the United Kingdom, something that we've enjoyed forever. And there is a risk now that the Europeans will follow suit.
Of course. Of a risk. They came to Dominica to tell Dominica the stipulations. Look at the other countries that are abiding by what the European Union did. They are abiding. Dominica is still on the edge. Boy. And then scared to want to tell the Dominican people, oh, it's because of the court matter that will stop the visa-free, not the passport sales. Really?
Europeans have raised concerns.
That's why you have to be mindful, brothers. You have to be mindful about your leaders and what they tell you. Because sometimes it's their interest they have in mind, not yours. When the Prime Minister can come and say he can send his children and family members overseas for better medical attention, then point to his supporters and say, what about you? The very supporters that want him to do better for the medical fraternity in Dominica, medical health care. I mean, we have to wake up, eh? I mean, come on.
Forever. And there is a risk now that the Europeans will follow suit. The Europeans have raised concerns very publicly about the due diligence that's been conducted.
Tourism Minister Denise Charles says her government has changed the rules in order to obtain citizenship.
That's what the government say.
Stricter now.
Areas where they felt we could strengthen, they made recommendations for us, and we've changed our legislation.
So, Dennis, you mean to tell me that the government did not know it was selling passports to criminals, money launderers, and the other one he used there, I forget. Did he know that? I mean, to sell, make a mistake and sell it to one person. One person, fine. 2, 10, brothers and sisters. You make a mistake and sell it to 100 people who are involved in criminal activities and money laundering. But thousands, you make a mistake and sell thousands of passports to money launderers and criminals. You don't mean that say that, you know, miss that the partner that's looking at Iran, that fine Dominica trail, and fine trail of people who have been involved in all sorts of criminals, and the Prime Minister coming and tell us, oh, you know, Dominica has one of the most robust due diligence programs. He will tell you that. The rest of the world know better.
For example, one of our laws, it was too easy for somebody to change their name. They made a recommendation and that law was changed.
So you mean people could change their name when they get the passport? So that is all you forget. Then you should just sell all this in there. Mankind could change their name. That's probably why MMC Anthony Hayden name is not Anthony Hayden. Huh? Am I saying too much, man?
Areas where they felt we could strengthen, they made recommendations for us, and we've changed our legislation. For example, one of our laws, it was too easy for somebody to change their name. They made a recommendation, and that law was changed.
The program to buy citizenship is called Citizenship by Investment, CBI for short. Many countries offer similar programs, but starting at $100,000, Dominica's is one of the cheapest.
Currently, the CBI accounts for about 60% of government revenue. 60%. So it has surpassed even.
It's almost, that was just a little above Ross, what Ross was contributing to Dominica. And that is just the monies that coming in. We're not talking about the monies that outside there.
Revenues from taxation.
The government designates a few business people as agents with the privilege of offering passports to foreigners.
Generally, the agents appear to be friends of government officials and friends of the program. And it's a very limited monopoly, I would say, of people who have the right to sell passports. You make a lot of money as an agent because people want these passports.
I wonder if Joshua Francis does sell passports, boy. I wonder. Joshua Francis, are you selling passports? Or were you selling passports before? Were you ever involved in this thing? I don't know. Just a question that came to mind.
Who decides if you become an agent?
The Prime Minister. I mean, he's the one who makes that decision,
Of
no
course.
one else.
And selling diplomatic passports too. Remember Monfared? Remember Alison Maduke? Remember all these people who became our ambassadors? And we didn't even know they were ambassadors until we hear them having Dominica passports, being involved in certain criminal activities. You remember that? But they wasn't selling diplomatic passports, no? Okay. The median man, the mediator, the median man was on Al Jazeera. The one who made it, the link, said that it was happening. And they say that is not the case.
It's in the hands of the Prime Minister.
The Prime Minister is Roosevelt Skerrit. He has ruled the country for the last 20 years. He's no stranger to scandal.
No stranger to scandal. Brothers and sisters, who is the most corrupt Prime Minister in the Caribbean? Do you guys know? I might have a clue. Anyways, let me see what you guys are saying right there. The law is also a passport seller. Vicky, if he doesn't understand, yeah. Or 2718, because he have his American birth certificate and he cannot renounce that. Vicky is saying if they have robust and diligent process, why did so many criminals obtain all Dominica passports? Because they had been lying to the Dominican people. Because they expect the leaders to not tell lies to them. There's a quote that goes, I'm paraphrasing that quote, but if you were to always believe your your leader, your government, to believe your leader everything that your government says, makes you a fool. It makes you a fool because sometimes, brothers and sisters, power corrupts. And absolute power corrupts absolutely. That's a quote as well. So that's interesting. You have to go Barbados for UK visa. I have no idea. I am not limited. I can go UK without visa. So I'm good to go.
Several media investigations have linked him to corruption. But what does this all have to do with the killings? Jonathan Lehrer was a citizenship agent with ties.
He was a passport seller. That's exactly why that came into the picture.
To the government and the Prime Minister. Learer's real estate project is one of the few approved by the Prime Minister himself. Invest in Bois-Côtelet and get citizenship.
How on earth he got Bois-Côtelet? That is the mind-boggling part for me. How much money did he have to pay to obtain a historical place? How much money did he have to pay? And if he had to pay that amount of money, where was that money paid to? Because you can say, oh, he paid for it, he paid the normal $100,000, when in fact he probably paid $10 million. And the $9.9 million was pocketed, whereas $100,000 came to Dominica, allegedly. You understand how crazy the situation is leading right there.
He's one of only a few brokers who have the right to sell passports through real estate purchases.
And there's another problem with the program. The numbers don't add up.
If you make just an average count of the number of passports that have been issued, and you compare that to the revenues coming into the
Dominica
government treasury, it is clear that there is a disconnect.
I think it was 8,000 passports, brothers and sisters. So if you sell 8,000 passports, no, there was 40-something thousand passports, eh? So 40,000 passports based off when you calculated around the Caribbean, with the other Caribbean islands. 30 or 40. But let's just say, brothers and sisters, 40,000 passports at $100,000.
There is no way the Dominican government's official budget numbers make any sense. And so basically what that means is money is missing from the official budget of the country.
And when Lennox came and said that we're going to shut down the country so that the government can answer, Skerrit finally came up on the radio station and stated that the monies that was supposed to come to Dominica did come to Dominica. However, there is a development fund that is overseas. He said that there's a development fund that is overseas used for developing Dominica. Brothers and sisters, what are developing in Dominica? The house they give you, that is the development there. The light they're trying to put in the stadium, that is the development there.
Estimated that about $2.4 billion would be what is at stake.
$2.4 billion. But the minister says that's a misconception.
It's a very transparent process. Some people don't.
Really? So we don't know how to calculate? Unless some people getting it at cheaper rates. That's probably why Dominica had to switch their passports from the normal passports they had back in the day to getting these e-passports. Had to rush the people to do it. Under the pretense, not under the pretense. Now I remember when Annette Sanford was asking that question, that we're seeing people in Pakistan selling Dominica passports, making advertisements, have Dominica passports laid out on the table. When the government was asked about that, they want to shun what she was saying as if we didn't see these things.
Want the information, they prefer to keep it at a stage to create confusion and to spread misinformation about the program for their own intentions.
As we were leaving her offices, the minister said she would send us information that would clear everything up.
She never did.
We're still waiting.
Of course.
Lear's lawyer...
You see how it is, guys? They make claims just like Jonathan Lear said that they were willing to talk. Up to now, they do talk to Jonathan Lear. Just like the tourism minister come and say, oh, they are willing to provide information. They are still waiting for that information right there. Because it's kind of like a settling thing. Okay, no man, I'll get you that in a moment. I'll get you that in a moment. And you waiting. You never get it. Or sometimes when people owe you money, they say, yeah man, I'll pay you that next week. I'll give you that next week, man. Don't worry about that, man. So they buy themselves time. Sometimes when next week come, you don't even seen them. You don't even seen them. Far less to get your money.
Also stands by the program.
That statement...
Of course he stands by the program.
...has been made by certain political operatives on the island. And when they were pushed for evidence of that, there was no such evidence.
What do you mean there was no such evidence? So we don't see any numbers? Huh? We don't see any numbers? Why is now scared that they are trying to go, they're using the court system to go and find out about the money? Why is scared now? Why is he scared now? Remember he wanted to leave, now he cannot leave? Because he's fearful of what will happen to him and he has to be a diplomat for him not to be affected. You know? You understand the diplomatic rule? Okay.
And he admits he too has connections to the program.
You're also a passport
agent. With a number of other persons.
with a number of other persons. He was waiting for that question right there.
We begin to realize that Learer is well connected. Not only is he one of the select few who can sell citizenship, his lawyer is too, and not only that.
I am also the attorney of the Prime Minister, among a number of other persons.
And that's not all. He was also one of the Prime Minister's campaign organizers.
Vote for the Labour Party, vote for 5 more years, vote for Roosevelt Scarrett.
And there's Rhoda Joseph. She runs the government agency responsible for attracting foreign investment to the island.
So she might be connected to that guy too, to the Jonathan Leher, because she's part of the general director for Investment Dominica. Who is in charge of investing in Dominica, brothers and sisters? Remember, the Prime Minister was a financial minister, Minister of Finance. Now he's Minister of Investments. And all of a sudden, the very person who is the general director for Investment Dominica puts up on is the surety for the same Jonathan Leher, who's also connected to the very passport setting right there. Very interesting.
Remember, she offered, though unsuccessfully, her building as collateral for Jonathan Learer's release.
But he now gets it. So who is the surety now?
Hello, Madame Joseph. Hi, I'm Yannick. I'm from Canada.
We asked Rhoda Joseph for an explanation.
But is it possible to talk to you some other time?
No.
She said no.
I believe that is scandalous.
She has a phone. That's good.
I believe that is scandalous.
Explanation.
But is it possible to talk to you some other time?
No.
I believe that is scandalous. I believe that is frankly unacceptable.
Big up Gabriel Christian right there.
Have that sort of position in government, you ought to remove yourself from such matters into privacy. And I believe it casts a very unfavorable shadow.
Of course.
Gabriel Christian is a lawyer from Dominica, now living in Washington, D.C.
He's the lawyer that gave me the information, guys, when I read about the motive.
We talked to several expats like him, all dismayed by what's going on in their country.
Yeah, several of them. This is one of the reasons why I knew that, Vince Henderson sucked as an ambassador. He sucked. Even after Hurricane Maria, brothers and sisters, Vince Henderson, he was hardly at the meetings. He's the ambassador of Dominica, hardly at the meetings. And then he'll come and pretend, oh, we are there for you. Vote for me. Vote for me. And people in Dominica will still vote for these people. All you boy.
The connection between the power of those who are appointed as agents for the government in this passport selling scheme has allowed for the growth of an arrogant oligarchy that's lawless, that has undermined the rule of law.
The justice system works.
No, it doesn't. It works for those, and then there are people who are above the law.
If it did not work, Mr. Lura would not be incarcerated.
I knew there was some sort of thing. No, we have to keep you there for a while. We have to keep you here for a while. And then after a while has been reached, then we'll release you. We'll make up something and then release you. Guys, I'm telling you the whole game right there, you know. I tell you the whole game.
And if it did not work, there would not be directives on trial and denial of bail.
Last June.
So yeah, they had to deny the bail so it can look legit. No, you need to deny your bail, then come back again, deny the bail, while keeping you comfortable in prison because something happened, you know, you did something. I understand you are for or something, but you did something, so therefore we have to keep you there for a while to make things settle, to calm things down.
Normand Langlois, Sylvie Grenier, and Céline Casey met with police.
Aujourd'hui, on a réussi à avoir une entrevue avec l'enquêteur.
We met with the investigator who'd been on the case from the start.
Il nous a confirmé que les tests ADN avaient été faits.
He confirmed that DNA testing was done. However, they hadn't gotten the written report yet.
Ils auraient...
So that's how they knew that it was Daniel and Dominique.
Des balles sur le
but there's no forensics. They need to do forensics on the vehicle and stuff. But the vehicle's burnt up, so that's, evidence gone too.
Il y a des armes qui ont été saisies.
They found bullets at the scene. They seized weapons. They're trying to get ballistics analysis done on them. That report still hasn't been completed.
So who is stopping that report from being completed? Kind of reminds me of what took place in the United States, especially when it comes down to JFK assassination. This report still has not been released yet. So, little Dominica, with this information right there, who you think is preventing this information from actually coming out or even being investigated? Is the possibility that they can say, well, they lost the evidence? Can that be true? If they found the bullets, ballistics has to be, but they have to do ballistics. I'm investigating it, and then find, some evidence. But who's preventing that from happening? You think they're gonna turn on their own? I guess only time will tell, brothers and sisters. Only time will tell. BSC is saying you should have a session after your program where people can call in or zoom in and express their opinions on the topic also. It'd be a lot to type. Yeah, I feel you, I feel you. In time, I want to start doing the live stuff in terms of, getting people on and this kind of things there. In time. We'll be doing these things. 2025 is coming up, so just have to prepare, get certain things organized so we can then push forward in that regard right there. We also need sponsors in that regard to come through. But it's not just anybody coming and sponsor things. Sometimes I'm not really in favor of certain businesses or this kind of things there, So I just have to put this out there, right there. And of course, you guys can always give some super chats and stuff. I appreciate all those who sent their stuff as well.
They are resigned to the fact that Dominican police aren't as well equipped as those in larger countries. That only adds to the uncertainty as to the outcome of the murder trial scheduled in 2025.
This is what I stated. It seems like what is happening is intentional. So they can escape with criminals. They can do things. They can escape with all the backing up of things. It creates a frustration. A number of things. Hey, police not doing their work properly and the police lied. That's some of the arguments that they say. They say the police lied. The police lied and they didn't able to write their report properly and this kind of thing there. Was that intentional though?
That's where we are right now. We want it to progress, but it can't go any faster.
And remember the case before the courts about the status of the road?
Yep.
A few months after the death, the judge finally ruled.
Of course.
That road is indeed public.
Public road.
The judge didn't mince words describing Jonathan Lehrer. The court did not find the defendant to be a credible witness, nor his evidence reliable. His demeanor was cheeky, evasive, and morose.
Because he knew he was going to escape. He knows that. We all have that feeling that we know he's going to escape. It's not that he didn't do it. But of course, he is aligned or apparently he's alleged to be assigned or aligned with certain people. And therefore, if he's aligned and assigned with certain people, then he's going to escape. Especially if the people who he's aligned with have the justice system in the grips, in their hands. They can just decide, hey, throw that case away. Do this and do that, Keep this matter going. They can do a number of these things.
Despite that, Lehrer will appeal the decision, his lawyer told us.
The question is why. I think the big question still remains why. And people are saying, is this really just overruled?
And one thing...
It's not overruled. It's what could have happened with that bunker. I think it has a lot to do with that bunker. A lot.
I am blaming the government too, because from day one, we up there and then they'll keep going with problem with that man for the road, which is not a public road. We didn't have peace.
Back in 2019, a dashcam recorded Daniel and Dominique trying to find a little levity in a difficult situation.
You hear that, guys? So they say there's nothing venomous, there's no mosquitoes down there. Apparently all the mosquitoes came up to the north. And then they're saying this. There's no danger. No, just the neighbors. Just the neighbor. And they laughed about it, never knowing what would have happened to them. A lot of things have been exposed in Dominica, guys. A lot of things have been exposed. It's just that we are looking for the leaders to come out and say, yes, it's true. The leaders would never come out and say, yes, it's true. Because they are protecting their skin. They are protecting their people. as I'm thinking about that, I remember the Didi situation, brothers and sisters. The situation with Didi, these things has been happening for years. For years upon years. Until something Didi did that rubbed them the wrong way. And as a result, he's in the circumstance that he's in today. Once you behave yourself, like I always tell people, the rich live by different rules. Just like they were telling people during the whole Rona situation that you cannot fly. The only set of people that couldn't fly is the normal people, you know. The only set of people that were restricted were the normal people. Remember, they catch the British Prime Minister in a party, enjoying himself, going crazy to the point where they said, look at this, and he had to resign. You remember that, brothers and sisters? If it wasn't on camera, it didn't happen, you know. But of course, it was on camera and they got him. Partying without mask and then coming and telling people he put mask on and those kind of things, they need to be restricted. But he enjoyed himself. You see? We tend to leave, and I probably say too much for YouTube right there. But hopefully you guys understand what I'm saying right there. Anyways, guys, what are your thoughts, man? Click the thumbs up button, like I indicated before, brothers and sisters. I appreciate every single one of you guys for tuning into these vibrations. I appreciate all the super chats and, of course, the gifts that you guys sent on this here chat. I appreciate you 100% for that. Like I indicated before, and I've stated already, brothers and sisters, click the thumbs up button right there. Click it, and, of course, like I indicated before, there's much to be discovered when it comes down to the situation involving this. And I'm happy that this document definitely brought that information out so that more people can get to know exactly what is going on. But it seems like more these things come out, the less people care. Because when the investigators for the whole passport situation was dealing with Iran and trying to find the corruption in Iran, brought the information to Dominica that there were more passports being sold, what did Dominicans do? Oh, we hear that already. We hear that already. That's the sentiment that they have. So sometimes even when the information is presented, the people have been so defeated that they don't even care. And that I think is a very sad part right there. Anyways, brothers and sisters, this is pretty much all about us for this here vibrations today. If you did enjoy it, click the thumbs up button. And of course, if you want more vibrations as they tend to come through, hopefully I get to do one tomorrow right there. It's about Miss Licks on this here. Brbptv. Be real. Be positive. Brothers and sisters, be positive.